Welcome to the MCG. Richmond versus Carlton. A beautiful winter's day. Should be a great matchup. Carlton, they've got the wood over the Tigers in their last 6 appearances. But Rob, looking forward to this. Big challenge for the Blues after their loss last week to West Coast.
Well, they definitely need to bounce back, Chris. No doubt about that. Disappointing against the West Coast Eagles, but here at the MCG they'll be keen to make amends against traditional rivals, the Tigers, of course. And we look at the Carlton lineup there, and it's the back line with Jamison out. That's a bit of a worry. Thornton, Laidler, the key defenders. Maybe Henderson at some stage will go into defence.
As we look at the Richmond lineup, and Jack Riewoldt, he'll need a big game, of course, playing at 4-4, just the one last week, but very good midfield.
Oh, the midfield's really good, and look, Daniel Jackson's one of the best taggers. Cochin's coming of age as a player. Dustin Martin, he can dominate in the midfield and kick a bag of goals. And Farmer and Halbig are youngsters who are on the improve.
Yes, and big crowd moving into the MCG. Should be an absolute beauty. Traditional rivals Richmond and Carlton as we head down to the boundary line for the first time this afternoon. Andy Marr, good afternoon.
G'day, Chriso. It's kind of the way it's meant to be, isn't it? Saturday afternoons in this fair city with two of the traditional rivals at this fantastic venue. There are no better days for footy than the one we've got today. They are expecting 70,000 through the door. I don't think it's near the 70 yet. It's maybe tiptoeing its way there, but they are expecting 70,000. It would be fantastic if they can. All the money's been for Carlton throughout the week. $1.25. They've been firm at sportsbet.com.au. Richmond was $3.95 out to $4.25. And you might notice something unusual about the Richmond Sash today. They've got the names of everybody that have contributed over $5,000 so far to the Richmond Fighting Fund on the front of the jumper today. It is crucial for the future of that football club that people do contribute, and they're being recognised on the jumper today.
Well, Malcolm Blight is a good judge. He suggested that Lockie Henderson would go into defence for Carlton. He's been named as a forward, played as a forward, but Henderson lines up at fullback on Jack Riewoldt.
So underway here at the MCG. Beautiful winter's day. Judd with his first opportunity, a little fumble. Finally finds it, kicks it inside attacking 50. Out comes Cruiser. And he's marked on the attacking 50. Cruiser into the pocket, looking for weight. Great to see him back. Judd, who followed up from his centre clearance. Over to Robinson. Oh, gee, cheap goal for the Blues to start the game. Too easy for the Blues. And Judd, great work from the centre square, getting on the end of it. And Mitch Robinson, what a wonderful finish. Good to see him back into the team.
Well, he did it well, didn't he, Mitch, with the boomerang kick from the boundary line. But as you mentioned, Chris Judd, he got the centre clearance and then he pushed forward. And we'll see Judd, a couple of fumbles there, but he just pursues the football relentlessly, gets the thump forward. Cruiser takes the mark, and then Cruiser puts it out wide to Jared Waite, who in turn handballs to Judd, handballs to Robinson. And it's a pretty slick start, Malcolm.
It is, and watching Chris Judd last week, I thought he might have had the flu or something. It just didn't look quite right to me. But that's a great start, isn't it? Oh, isn't it good getting the touch early too, no matter what age you are and how good you are, getting an early touch.
Mitch Robinson under the Tigers' skin already. Oh, the bounce slewing well off the vertical, but umpire Schmidt letting it go. Delidio's footy. Again, Richmond pinned down the back, but they work it to Rance. Betts comes at him. Rance was asleep. It's a push in the back. It's a Richmond free kick. Betts obviously disappointed, but he took him forward. And Rance is lucky to get off the hook there because he was loafing. Feeds it inside to Martin, put under pressure, forced sideways, and Carlton pressing early. Well played by Post, getting it off to Cochin, feeding it to Farmer, and the Tigers work forward, but Thornton chops it off in front of Vickery and immediately dishes to Yarran.
Yarran to the wing, now an opportunity for Murphy. Well done, well corralled there by Martin. The kick forward, now a chance for Post, who's been involved early. Good tackle on him by Murphy, and the umpire says give it to me.
Isn't that terrific? Here's the chase from Betts, but wasn't Murphy good then, Rob? He just followed up his ball and got a tackle in. That's where he's really improved this year.
Yes, and Jared Waite, it's a good test for his hamstrings. He's had 2 of his toenails in the first minute.
Carazzo inside attacking 50. Cruiser, well done Thursfield in the end. Tigers can bring it out. Newman shares it with Hawley, and now to the southern wing, making ground. Griffiths couldn't quite get there and waited for the ball, and Laidler took the opportunity. Turnover. Now he kicks to half forward, probing kick. Walker has marked 55 from goal.
Waits free.
Kicks it deep. Now Waite's got the sit here. Can he get to the contest? Well done, Brown. Double fist. I bet you'll seize this opportunity. No, off the knee or above the knee, says the goal umpire. So I'll be disappointed with that, Eddie.
I reckon he'll be right, because he was right there. Have a look. It did too. It hit him above the knee. What a great call. Well done. Have a look. It just bounced up at the wrong time for Eddie.
Well, Eddie's had a rather unfortunate start. He thought he had a free kick. He thought he had a goal. He has neither. He has one behind, and that probably goes down as rushed, actually. Although that's a technical point. Laidler feeds to Henderson here. And the new full back for the Blues sees daylight. He goes long, and Carlton looking pretty clean here. They find Walker, forward of the wing, in the sun. Wait on the lead, shunted by Thursfield. Falls for Carazzo, time to steady, should not miss this, and he doesn't.
Yeah, well, sadly, Richmond just haven't used the ball going well forward, and they've almost given it back to Carlton at will. And great tackle again from Betts. He does have some value. What a great kick from Carazzo. Why you wouldn't kick up there, and what a kick low has got me beat. But anyhow, it's a goal.
And you can see the two Carlton star midfielders, favourites for the Brownlow medal, Murphy and Judd, coming off as soon as Carazzo kicked that goal.
So great start this by the Blues. 2-1. Richmond haven't threatened yet. So Warnock up against Brown. Warnock decisively at the base of the pack. Ellard can't get it clear, and the umpire will call for it.
Actually, Chris, in the middle is Mitch Robertson, Carazzo, and Ellard, as you call. But that's Carazzo kicked a goal and went into the middle, Rob. He didn't actually get taken off, so that wasn't part of that rotation. No. So it does happen, they kick a goal and don't go off.
Radical thinking, Malcolm.
Free kick to Warnock, held by Brown, according to the umpire. So the Blues, another opportunity. You know, ordinary old kick towards half forward. Ball to the back, chance for Thursfield. Wait, close attention. Now Hawley, wrapped up by Wait, and a good tackle going nowhere. A bounce 25 metres from goal.
Malcolm, interesting challenge been thrown to Lockie Henderson, isn't it? To go to full back and play on the Coleman medalist in Jack Revolt. I think it's bold coaching. It'll be interesting to see how it unfolds.
Warnock again dominating the hit-outs. Walker, Robinson under pressure. And that's out on the full. So free kick to the Tigers in the back pocket.
Yeah, I must say, Rob, I've seen him play, as you have, for a while now, and he just hasn't quite nailed the forward line bit, and you've seen a lot of blokes like that end up going back and having a great career. I think that while Jamison's out, if he's given 2 or 3 games, depending on what he does today, of course, I'd keep him there. You've got to find one.
I agree. Carlton are one tall defender short.
Yep.
Tigers' worry is that they seem to have started very lethargically, and Carlton are just playing with the football at the moment. It's their ball. Gibbs cleverly to Ellard, too far out to kick a goal, and he's looking for options. In the end, he goes the long one to the hot spot. Cruiser's lined up in front of goal. He brings it down to Walker, who hits the woodwork.
Tim, you mentioned that first quarter and how lethargic Richmond appeared. They've only won one first quarter for the entire season, so it's been a real problem for them right through 2011.
Andy, it's a fair bit about their kicking. They've had a few chances to break out of here, but their kicks just haven't found targets.
2 metres, Andrew.
So Cochin now. And again, looks up and not much on. Not a lot of movement, it's got to be said. So decides to head to the southern wing. Jackson the target. Well done, Yaron.
There's an interesting matchup in the Richmond forward line. Jake King, the little live wire, the little angry ant, playing on Zach Toohey, the Irishman.
So Brown again to do battle with Warnock. Warnock again directs it to the back of the pack. Jackson crunched high, says the umpire. So opportunity for the Tigers to go forward. Now caught the play on Daniel Jackson. So he chips it wide. Poor kicker. There's another turnover straight to Ellard of Carlton.
Yeah, this is really hurting them.
Yeah, they've been substandard early. It is early days, and hopefully they'll settle into a rhythm. Here's Scotland, who's been a wonderful contributor for Carlton this year. Cruiser leads a long way from home. Jackson there to Crum for Richmond. Foley under pressure. Cruiser's got him over the ball. Dangerous place to be. Walker obligingly takes it out. There'll be a ball up.
Actually, what happens sometimes with young sides as well is that you get it. You want to do so well. You get a bit pumped up with your kicking, and you want to find the target. You get a bit Yankee with it. So you've got to relax. Football's about relaxation.
Griffiths rucking against Warnock. Free kick to Carazzo, having a lot of it in the early part.
So the kick now into the pocket wasn't well directed.
It's interesting, Simon White up in the forward line for Carlton. We expected he might play at full-back. Henderson, of course, has gone there.
So now it's with Foley in the back pocket for Richmond.
7-0 the entries.
Frightening start. Now the kick towards the wing. Vickery's got to stand underneath it and fist it away comfortably by Layla. So another boundary thrown between wing and half forward for the Blues.
And Carazzo has the tagging run with roll on the dangerous Cochin.
Gee, that was a good jump by Layla then, Rob. I mean, he got off the ground with a big fella there. That was good.
Well, he struggled to get games at Geelong because it was a star-studded team, but been given real opportunity at Carlton this year.
Boundary throw-in falling short, and Robinson just dumps it back to the line.
We were talking about earlier before the game. You don't have to be 6'5" or 195, do you? If you've got that bit of spring.
Yeah, if you can bring the ball to ground
yeah,
and then be able to run off the taller opponents.
Griffiths reaches over. Chance for Simpson. Good tackle on him. Now Griffiths, good little give. Martin underground to Thursfield. Judd the tackle. The pressure from Carlton is immense. And all over the ground, not allowing Richmond a free disposal and a bounce at centre-half forward for the Blues.
So Carlton coming out steaming after their setback last weekend. The Tigers had one too, but you wouldn't know it from the early signs. Hooley clears for them here. Members side, Yaron edging Nahas under it, but not finishing the job. And Nahas beats him, and he's clever off the outside of the boot to Farmer. Hopefully forward, not a bad option. Foley's quick, and he can kick a running goal. He goes for them and just misses.
So first realistic opportunity for Richmond are behind. Russell from fullback for the Blues. And comfortably finds Murphy. Now Judd wants it short. The handball's instead to Tui. Now it gets to Judd. Back to Murphy. So they work it out pretty well, even though it's a little risky. Beautiful kick into the corridor. Oh, White played on. And Rance had him, nailed him. Now Robinson an opportunity. His handball astray. Robinson does well at ground level to hand it off to Walker. Deep towards full forward. Waits a chance. Fisted away by Post. Attacking it hard down there to Ledio. Garlett. Cochin. The left boot just scrambles it into space, hoping. Now the race is on. Griffiths versus Warnock. Griffiths gets an accommodating bounce and then kicks to Revolt, who can't take the mark. Good spoil coming. That was from Henderson. Now Revolt finds it at ground level, directs it to the pocket. Vickery over his head, and he tries to keep it in, but I think it was over. Boundary throw in the pocket.
That wasn't bad from Henderson there on Revolt, Rob. He did the right thing, but he took an extra second to get off the ground. You'll learn that. It's not over when you get up. You've got to get up quick. It was a good contest, though.
Griffiths rucks with Warnock. Warnock applying the tackle with a bit of help from Henderson on Revolt, and so a ball up 20 metres out. Tigers with little of it up forward, but they have achieved a couple of entries in the last 2 minutes. Griffiths winning in the ruck. Farmer, well smothered, got it back, gives Grigg a chance, the former Blue, feeding it off. Batchelor swinging, just not getting enough hook on it. And it's another minor score, but Tigers showing signs of improvement after a slow start.
So Russell again at fullback. That's what's ahead of him. Richmond zone, full ground press in place. Kicks towards Warnock. Fisted away though. Front and centre Robinson. He's well tackled by Deledio and is penalised. Advantage. Here's a chance for Edwards. Kicks to a central location. Nahas, perhaps could have marked Tui. Hands and knees. Judd dispossessed. Good fight from Jake King at ground level. Eventually the ball, does it spill out? Chance for the Tigers, who are showing a bit more desperation in this passage of play. It's not coming out. and a bounce 35 metres from the Richmond goal.
Carlton ruckman Warnock, he was the target for the kick-in by the full back. He's got to take more marks. He's got to take more contested marks. Tallest man on the field.
Scotland getting it onto his boot. Didn't go very far. Umpire said not far enough. Bad luck for Cochin. Murphy, though, gives it up. Foley might have another go from outside 50. Tough shot. 2-on-1 the Blues way. The height with Vickery. The line is Carlton's friend. The Tigers score a third minor, and the Blues immediately bring it back to Simpson loose.
Now Simpson wants to give it off. Yaron, great speed. Kicks it beautifully onto the chest of Waite. Just the attacking side of the wing. Walker, the opportunity. Well done, Newman. Garlett now. Little toe poke. Brown needs to keep it in front of him. Did well enough. Post. Coming in. Becks. That was brilliant. Now Waite's got an opportunity. Now Deledio. Well done. Off to Jackson. Batchelor. Deledio kept running. This is better from Richmond. The last 5 or 6 minutes working their way into the game. Long towards Revolt and Henderson. One-on-one battle. Gibbs first to arrive to provide assistance. Now Henderson feeds it back to Scotland. Did well in that one-on-one battle with Revolt. And the short kick from Scotland is a beauty. The mark's taken by Judd just backward of the wing.
Another good result for Henderson as he did enough on Revolt. The lead comes from White. The crumbing done by Gibbs for the Blues, who just scrounges a kick forward. Walker. Rance, good pressure. A legitimate disposal from Walker, and out of bounds is the ruling.
Absolute correct too, Tim.
Or did he just let it go? Did he get a little hand pass?
I thought it was a little hand pass.
Cruiser in the direction of Murphy. Well done, Martin. Oh, back to Brown, back to Martin. Foley. Oh, he coughs it up. Garlett read it superbly. Kick smothered. Now a chance again for Garlett. Tracking it close to the line, confronted by Jackson, who will round him too easily. Kick into the pocket, he'll direct it. Mark taken by Rance.
He won't die wondering, Jeff Garlett. He tries lots of things. He's an exciting player. He'll make mistakes like that, but he's been good for Carlton as a small forward this year. Newman
to Thursfield, and now Nahas at half back.
In fact, he's kicked 32 goals, equal with Walker going into this game.
Helbig. Still in defensive 50 for the Tigers. Now into the corridor, loose player, Jackson, Batchelor. So Richmond right in the middle of the MCG. Vickery in front, couldn't quite hold on. Gibbs arrives, Tui, Henderson, they work it out pretty well, the Carlton defence. Kick okay, Robinson takes it on the bounce around the body, beautifully done, the dangerous Eddie Betts. What can he do here? Hard up against the line, got a loose option inside, and he spots him, and the mark's taken by Simpson.
Well, good composure. Simpson can go the distance. He should just settle down, and his teammates should tell him that. He can kick that distance. He'll kick from the 50-metre line. It'll suit his left boot.
So, Kade Simpson, 8 goals so far this season. From just inside 50, pulls it back and kicks a goal. So a goal to Simpson, and despite the fact the Tigers dominating the last 5 or 6 minutes, it's Carlton against the flow, kick the goal.
Just have a look at this again. This is the kick. This is Henderson getting involved again. He's had 3 touches to Revolt's 1. But what he's done is a couple of great defensive things and set up this goal, really. And see, already I would continue to play them. Revolt's going to get some kicks on him, but he's done 3 really good defensive moves.
I reckon Brett Ratton would be saying, Revolt, if he kicks 5 or 6, we might think about a change after that. But you've got to give the kid a chance to learn the role.
Richmond free kick. So another Carlton forward move is thwarted. Once again, Robinson it was winning it out of the square. He is a driving force for Carlton now. Here's Cochin for the Tigers. Vickery with the height advantage. Thornton did enough. Tui brought down by Jake King. And he wins the free kick for the Tigers.
Rubbish. He's got to have some chance. and you've got him in a bear hug. I hate that rule. Oh, I hate it.
King too far out. He forces himself to kick wide, and Henderson again nullifies Revolt.
Look at this, Rob. Picks it up immediately. Bang. Bang. Driven in the ground. And then the other is... Oh, look.
No, I agree with you, Malcolm. I think that's a really hard call. It's a terrific tackle, but just because it's a terrific tackle doesn't mean it's guaranteed a free kick.
Cruiser having a run in the ruck now after starting up forward. Warnock having a breather. Delidio up front. Gang tackle.
I'll tell you what the difference is. On the other one, Heath Scotland went in to try and reef the ball out. There were two Carlton players effectively at the base of the pack.
I understand that, but if he's trying to get it out, isn't that the right thing to do?
Well, the fact there were two players there, I reckon, counted against Tui.
Farmer over the ball this time for Richmond.
What's the difference? I mean, that's what drives me nuts. And it drives a lot of people nuts.
I just told you. Now have a look at Scotland.
Forget the other player. He's trying to get the ball.
No, but they're holding the ball in as Carlton players.
He's trying to pull it out.
That, Malcolm.
I know that. He's trying to pull it out. He's trying to pull it out.
Yeah, but he failed to do so.
Scotland getting it out for the Blues. King forced away from goal. Got rid of Cruiser's tackle. Well played by little Jake. Oh, he's a tough nut.
Well, he's tough nut, all right, and he just shrugs tacklers off. He's built low to the ground. He cuts down low, arches the back. But you've got to be a really good tackle to nail him, and he's got a lot of confidence in his goal kicking now. Have a look at Jake King. He gets this footy. The tackler comes at him, arches the back, shrugs him off. He's just full of strength and confidence. And I'll tell you what he is doing, kicking so accurately. 20 goals, 5 behinds for the year. He's been a shining light for the Tigers this year up forward.
Warnock won the tap. Now it's a free kick from the umpire standing at centre half forward. It'll come to Heath Scotland, who drives it inside attacking 50. Cruiser the target, fisted away by Post. Front and centre Gibbs. Around Post, around Martin. Brilliant stuff from Gibbs, and he finishes with a goal. Great stuff from Bryce Gibbs, and just what Richmond didn't need, a quick reply.
Quick.
Came from a free kick inside the centre square.
Quicker than you can say Bryce Gibbs.
Great work from Gibbs. And Carlton's lead back out to 17 points.
It's really handy when a wingman does this. Wasn't that great from Cruiser? Just got in front and tapped it down. I reckon he knew. And this is the best part, the finish. The composure to get round 2 tackles, but just to split the middle.
Have a look at the two on the wing there. You've got Gibbs and Dustin Martin, and I reckon Gibbs often gets the role to go with one of the opposition's best midfielders, and of course young Martin been in terrific form.
Now, Michael, I'm not going to say anymore.
I'm glad you two aren't going to say anymore. Let's get on with the game, boys. And I tell you what, I thought Cruiser was terrific bringing that ball to ground. He protects the front space really well.
Warnock, the big fist clear. Carazzo, prominent early. Scotland, prominent every week just about for Carlton. In the Cruiser direction, but in front. Robinson again, playing above his centimetres. Another fine effort.
I tell you what, he's a Tasmanian, Tim, and there's a little bit of delight in your voice, but he is one of the most improved players in the game, Mitch Robinson. I've got to say, the last couple of years I thought he was as rough and raw as they come, but got a bit of polish into his game now.
Wasn't great work from Thursfield. Had the opportunity to punch, tried to mark.
So for a 5th Carlton goal, Robinson hooking it slightly, but it holds up, and the Blues go further ahead.
I'll tell you what, Rob, that was a fantastic kick. That's gone through a goalpost high. That's a long kick. That's a good jump, isn't it? Just in front. Thursfield really mistimed everything there. He had to stop, do that, and couldn't even put a fist in it. Amazing.
Such a wholehearted player, isn't he? prepared to put himself in front and try to take the mark.
Head out to advantage. You can see there Carlton 5-0. Clearances, Carlton's up 10-5. Brown's been doing the ruck work for the Tigers. He's having a spell at the moment, and Vickery's been called in from centre half forward to go up against Warnock.
No, well, Warnock still wins this one in the direction of Murphy, who finds it somehow wide to Carazzo. Pressure from Grigg against his old team. White did well. Flicks it out the back to Thornton. His kick to Robinson. Hooley overruns it. Well done, Rance, just scrambled it forward, and Farmer playing in front has taken the mark, the attacking side of the southern wing. Now he kicks towards it, leader revolt, and finds him. Not much Henderson could do about that.
I watched it because it was one out. Rob, he did not leave his shadow. You can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, the pass was sensational. Have a look at this. Hard, low, and
it's as close as you can be.
Yeah, a forward doesn't want it any better than that coming to him.
And if I was the coach, I'll disregard that.
1 goal 3 for Revolt last week from just outside 50.
Hit the stick.
So disappointing effort there. Gee, made the distance from outside 50 with ease.
That's a good play.
So it's the Blues by 22, which is pretty fair reflection of the contest so far. Yarran, flat ball for Thornton, not able to hang on to it though, and the Tigers have the crummers. One of them, Deledio, Judd chipping in and collecting, doing it beautifully, doing a bit of everything there, riding the tackle, getting off the hand pass, stolen by Post to King, to Grigg, a left footer, so uses his hands. Thursfield back to Grigg, trying to get free to use the left foot. Cruiser the smother. Tigers though working hard here. Edwards, Grigg, a third play in the build-up. Deledio kept it wide, and it's a good mark.
It's a ripper mark. It is a super mark, and White then opposed to Revolt. And Deledio playing more as a midfielder. He's generally started games on the half-back line for the Tigers.
Now, once again, Rob, let's not to make a point of this, but Henderson's at the other end.
And he was at the drop of the ball against Vickery, dropped a mark. It was an awkward one, but he needed to take it because it lets in Farmer, but it's a terrible kick. Missed the lot. Carlton's ball.
Now the mark from Revolt.
Gee.
Oh, that's a cracker.
Great little bit of body work first, wasn't it, to keep the opponent out of the way and then pull it in with one arm.
Dangerous kick by Murphy, but mark taken by Henderson. So started pretty well, Henderson. Comes back across the ground to Yarran.
They love to get the ball into this fella's hands. He's been a revelation this year, going from half-forward line to the back pocket.
So off one step, he kicks towards the wing. Warnock the target, Cruiser there as well. Ball to the back. Chance for Post. Did very well, worked it to the line. And we'll get a boundary throw in on centre wing.
Allard usually gets a tagging role with the Blues, and today he's got Foley, the dangerous Nathan Foley.
Warnock again to Carazzo. Murphy shares it with Scotland. Another good clearance by the Blues. Now towards half forward. Hooley perhaps could have marked. Now Newman. Well done. Just delayed the handball to get it to post. Hooley wants the line and did it well. So boundary throw in on attacking 50 for Carlton.
Pressure from Cruiser. The Blues hold it in late in the quarter. Tigers not wanting to let this lead blow out any further, and their captain comes away with the goodies here, and then lays a shepherd for Deledio, who just took his time and put Grigg under some pressure, and they cough the ball up. Blues ball.
Interesting, Mitch Robertson had the most touches on the ground and kicked a couple of goals. Missing last week, wasn't he?
Yes, and the hardness of him was certainly felt.
Another disposal, a free kick against Walker for manhandling Rance, who had good position. Walker threw him out of the way.
So the Tigers now, Martin off to Helbig, back in this Richmond team. From half back, now Nahas has got to stand his ground. He did very well and earns the free kick against Yarran. So 2.5 minutes left in the quarter. Another goal here from Richmond. It wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, Nahas hesitates, Chris, because Carlton have pushed numbers right back. All he can see is navy blue, so he's cutting to the middle.
And he kicks to centre half forward. And it's all Carlton around the footy. Fisted away. Brown, good hands. Needs support. Didn't get it. Now there's a turnover into open field. Simpson to Yaron. Working back, waits, and he marks at 50. Garlett streaming inside the attacking 50. The kick from Waite was an absolute beauty. And Jeffy Garlett will kick from just 25 metres on an acute angle.
How far do you reckon Jeffy ran to take that mark, Malcolm? We trailed him all the way. It was a good 50, 60 metre sprint. He was near the wing on the opposite side of the ground, and he just kept running.
Had a great year. He's kicked 32 goals, and that one hitting the behind post, so no score at all.
Last time I'll say it, but Henderson's punch was great. It was gone 30 metres, wasn't it? It was a great punch.
He is the buzzing small forward, Garlett. Zipping around and just creating danger constantly. Hooley, the free kick for the Tigers. And he goes long. Waite the climb, but it wasn't well timed. And it was marked by Griffiths, making his return for the Tigers today, giving them an extra tall. He goes to Martin and back to Rance. It's corralled by Walker, so no quick escape for the Tigers out on the fat side. Rance stabs wide. Did it pretty well. Helby. Forward to Nahas. They really could do with a goal here late in the term. Rig back to Nahas. Sweeping it to Foley. Could break now. And this looks good for the Tigers. Not a lot to go to as Thornton had the hole covered. And he takes it comfortably for the Blues.
Not a great option from Foley. He was sitting in that spot for a considerable amount of time, and he kicked it straight to him. So now Carrazzo, and Russell marks at half back.
Jared Waite just hasn't got his timing, Rob. He's gone for a few and just hasn't quite got it yet.
He's missed a few weeks, and they will persist with him as a forward this year, which I think is a good thing.
Robinson to the wing, Brown getting back, fisting away, and Newman just seeing it over.
And the reason I say it's a good thing, Jared Waite's been at Carlton for a long time now, and if you said, where does he play? You'd say, well, he plays midfield, he plays across the back line, he can go forward. It's time he took a responsible position in the forward line as a tall forward, and does this for the rest of his career.
Judd, Carrazzo, Ellard, desperate stuff there from Trent Cotchin, diving on Ellard's boot, and a boundary throw in. And that is commitment to the cause from Trent Cotchin.
Delidio running with Murphy. I think that's really good by the Tigers. You can see Murphy there wrapped up by Delidio.
Judd now. Now Ellard stripped it from him, but that's going to be it for the opening quarter here at the MCG. And a very impressive Carlton, 5-2, Richmond 1-4.
Well, impressive Carlton. They got off to a good start. Lost last week to the West Coast Eagles, their worst performance. It was important for Carlton to come out and play with some authority. They've done that, moved the ball on very quickly. As Andy Marr told us during that first quarter, Richmond's first quarters have been their worst for the season. In fact, they've only won just one first quarter in season 2011.
A quarter in at the MCG, Carlton by 32 points, Tigers managing just one goal. And Mitch Robinson, really the game-breaking player for Carlton, winning clearances and producing some finishing up forward.
He's been really good, Tim. Game number 39 started off with that boomerang from the boundary line, but he's hard and he's tough and he backs himself and looks like he's got himself in fantastic physical shape, and his second, third efforts, he can go forward, take a mark like that, kick a long goal. And he's one of the reasons why Carlton has improved this year, because his improvement has been remarkable. So you've got to give him a lot of credit for that, but he's just a really hard-edged competitor now.
It certainly is an outstanding opening quarter. 9 disposals. And arguably the best man on the ground.
And there's Robert Warnock, and he's come into the team in the place of Hampson. And he really has to cement a spot. Started his career with Fremantle. Came back to Carlton, came back to Melbourne, went to Carlton and didn't play a lot of football. He had injuries. Carlton was very patient with him, but his time has come this year. He started the season well, lost his spot, got that concussion, and I'd just like to see him take more marks around the ground.
He's had 12 hit-outs already in the opening quarter, Rob, which is he's certainly dominated that part of the game.
Well, you're right, and the stats told us through that quarter that, you know, effective hit-outs they were too, and Carlton had double the clearances. And we see Buster Brown there, the young Tiger ruckman, given opportunity, and he's got his hands full at the moment. Important for Brown to bounce back in this quarter.
So it's Carlton by 22 points as the second term starts. Tigers led Carlton into the last quarter when they met in round one and looked winners at that stage. Carlton gained control late. Here's Robinson again for the Blues, and that's a spearing ball. Just didn't quite have the weight on it to reach the man with the same name, the same sounding name, Jared Waite.
He's had 3 come at his toenails, Jared Waite. And look, he's had pretty good control over most of those half volleys, but you can see that just a fraction short.
So a bounce, the Blues in attack, Warnock. Well done. Robinson given a lot of room. Left foot snap towards Waite. Just had too much on it. But poor stoppage there, particularly in the defensive 50 for the Tigers, to allow Robinson so much room.
He's flying, isn't he? He's just on fire. Fresh. Week off or something. Come back really fresh.
And Andy, Damien Hardwick always coaching at ground level. He's gone.
We'll take it. He agrees with you, Rob.
He's gone for a cherry ripe.
He's celebrating already. Another Carlton victory. That's what he's doing.
Cochin couldn't find that when it fell, but eventually he did and realised he was clear, but no longer clear. He did it well, though, setting Jackson free. Jackson took the long way round, just got rid of it in time, but was under pressure and gives it up to Laidler.
Andy, talking about Damien Hardwick, always at ground level coaching his young Tigers.
You can understand him wanting to be down here, Wolsey, to that immediate interaction with the players, but he shares the frustration. He's so close to it down here, and he's obviously seeing a lot of stuff going on out there at the moment that's not according to the plan, particularly around the clearances. They just can't get any impact in that part of the ground at all.
So Warnock from half-back, searching kick for Waite, got rid of Post, and Post did well to get back, aided by a bounce, and he's had a free kick.
Yeah, Waite held his arm, and
he's done pretty well, Rob, so far. Post.
Yes, and look, Jared Waite's a pretty good player, so to give young Post the responsibility, it's what Damien Hardwick has to do. He's pretty short of tall defenders at the moment, with players like Moore out of the team.
So Jard Edwards did well. Quick handball over the top to Nahas. So finds himself some space, then kicks high towards half forward. King in front. Oh, almost. In fact, he's going to get a free kick for high contact.
Tiger down midfield.
Mark's here. Time back on. You're on your line. You're on the mark there.
So the free kick is coming to King, who's kicked Richmond's only goal.
Okay, you're on the mark there.
Been very accurate this year, has Jake King.
Yeah.
So they need this. The margin 23 points. And they were outplayed in that opening quarter. They can kick this and work their way back into it, perhaps. Drop punt. Is it coming back far enough? Oh. So disappointment there. 1-5 Richmond's return this afternoon.
It's like Ben Griffiths, who was down. He's up. Got trainers running alongside him, but he's ready to resume the battle. It looked nasty for a moment. And Tigers miss a scoring opportunity there as the woodwork's been popular so far. Waite, clever mark. Robinson again, the dominant figure out there by a considerable margin. Disposal good to Gibbs. One-on-one Betts. Height against him. Crumming Ellard just couldn't escape. Tries to get it out to Betts. Rance holding it up like Horatio on the bridge there. And keeping the Blues at bay, and eventually the Tigers escape. Edwards, not for long. Hooley, haphazard though, off the ground. Could have gone anywhere, and just about did. Tui, Laidler. Placing it into the 50, but again, Height Richmond's way. Garlett's come down with it. Oh, gee, that's
an interesting one. If it had been a Carlton mark, Damien Hardwick would have been filthy because he had 2 Tigers behind the little man who should have put a fist on it.
As it is, the Blues fans are filthy, believing it was a mark, but they can keep attacking.
Well done by Deledio. Little fumble from Batchelor. Put the head down. Good umpiring. And a ball up outside the attacking 50 for the Blues. As we watch this mark again, Rob.
Yes, Jeffy Garlett in front.
Gee, I've seen them paid.
You could understand why it was, well, it could have been paid. Got to ask you, Tim, who won, Horatio or the bridge?
I'll get back to that.
Horatio by lengths.
Yeah, I wasn't there that day. I must have missed that one.
Blighty, Ben Griffiths has gone downstairs. It looks like ribs to me. He was nursing those as he came off the ground. He seemed to be in a fair bit of pain. It's terrible news for the young man who's worked so hard to get back into this side, having carried injury right through the pre-season.
Yeah.
Cruiser, third man up to Judd. Inside attacking 50. Oh, gee, another poor effort from Thursfield against a much smaller opponent. That time he tried to fist but didn't make contact.
Well, the ball was in the air for an eternity, wasn't it? Simpson underneath it, and he's just missed. And poor defensive work.
Well, once might be an accident, but really it's happened twice in 90 seconds, hasn't it? Because
not good enough.
No.
Just didn't make body contact.
Well, his technique at punching, he's trying to punch one little spot on the ball, and if he comes from a perpendicular angle, he got 90 degrees of it.
So Simpson now not swinging back, so let off there for Thursfield.
If you understand that, Michael. He's swishing across the ball rather than down the ball, and you got more chances balling in that.
Makes perfect sense.
Chris Newman with a new variation on coloured boots. They're turquoise in colour. If it was anyone but Chris Newman, I could imagine Robert Walls would have torn strips off him by now, but he survived a quarter in about 5 minutes. As Rance swings it across the goal face. Betts had the numbers against him, but he was in a position to get a fist onto it and put the ball into 50-50. How do you like those, Wolsey?
Well, what do you think the late, great Jack Dyer would have thought about a Richmond captain wearing turquoise boots?
Trying to think of a suitable Captain Blood type response as Robinson swings it from on the line and can't keep it in play.
They're not even good ordinary boots, are they, really?
I'm just wondering where the name turquoise came from, Tim. Is it any relation to Horatio?
Yeah, well, that was the... actually, I don't think they are quite turquoise on closer inspection, Malcolm.
I think they're more light blue, aren't they?
Yeah, royal, perhaps, or sky.
Kick to half back and up was Gibbs, marking comfortably. So they've got it locked in there forward, 50 at the moment. Kick towards full forward. Cruiser. Oh, good fist from Rance. Judd front and centre. Left foot snap. Across the face. Betts has marked it.
I reckon he meant to hook it back, Judd. I don't think he had a shot for goal in the end.
Okay. Left foot snap from Betts is a goal. So now it's getting pretty serious for the Tigers. The lead is down to 29 points, and they've got to start doing something pretty quickly.
Yeah, and one of the issues is that the question mark today was Carlton's defence. Sadly, it's spending a fair bit of time in the Carlton forward line, so it's really not being tested like it should be.
Just good crumbing here by Chris Judd. I think he thinks about having a shot, then says, no, I'll hook it back.
Oh, no doubt he was going to goal.
Oh, he hooked it back, Chris. And Eddie's got the same sort of turquoise-coloured boots.
And Eddie has now kicked goals in 11 consecutive games against Richmond. He seems to like them. Bryce Gibbs playing well for the Blues. Pokes it in the weight direction. Sat up nicely. Walker to receive. Carlton dangerous again as he wants to straighten and does, and delivers to Garlett right in front. 30 out.
Well, when Walker took that ball, the handball received from Waite, he had 3 leading options. There was Cruiser, Eddie and Garlett. And that's a really good sign because it means that the forwards are all up and about and on the move.
This is a really good forward line, Rob, with Waite back in.
Yes, they need him to revolve around. Garlett, one of the 3 amigos, misses. But the Blues lead by 30, and the Tigers, if they're giving a yelp, it is barely audible.
Another reason for that is Cruiser has made the difference, hasn't he? I mean, he's capable of playing forward as well.
Look, Cruiser is the really important player because he can take his turn in the ruck, but he's also good enough to play as a key forward. He can also play as a midfielder.
Oh, Helbig, he took on too much. And advantage called, certain goal to Garlett. Hard to try and work out what Brad Helbig was trying to achieve there.
There's a free kick paid here. There's a free kick being paid, Chriso, and it looked like Garlett initiated the contact. We'll have to wait and see what the umpire decides upon.
That's against you.
Might be a free to Richmond in the centre.
It should be Richmond's free kick in the centre of the ground.
Free kick, so don't worry about it. It's all right.
Umpire Schmidt.
Well, there'll be a free kick to Richmond. After he kicked that goal, you can see Garlett came back and knocked an opponent to the ground, and the umpire, Vozzo, right on the scene, said, "You can't do that. We're going to give the Tigers a free kick," so they take it without the ball being bounced.
Why would you do it anyhow?
Silly.
So Vickery inside, attacking 50. Chance for Grigg. Judd fell over. Now Farmer diving in on top of the football, gets to his feet, and that's enough for the umpire to call it. So a bounce 25 metres from Richmond's goal.
Just going back to Garlett, he's got a freebie. The team's got him a freebie, and he runs into a kid, and all it does is stir the kid up. I mean, the kid's probably spewing on his own juices. Let him go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's dumb.
Cruiser. Jackson fighting hard at the base of the pack. Gibbs tries to wrench it free. Another bounce. Bad mistake by Helbig to allow Garlett the goal.
One of the problems now, Michael, is if you can't kick it to a teammate, here it is now. I mean, he didn't need to do that.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah. You won't kick it up in the air down the line. I mean, that's all he had to do.
So Vickery beaten by Cruiser. Nahas trying to find the footy. He does now. Hard up against the line in the pocket. Back towards Big Brown, but kick had a fraction too much on it. Simpson can clean up. Murphy back to Simpson, around Martin to Scotland to Thornton. I thought it should have given the handball over the top to Carrazzo. Instead he kicks to the wing, and the mark's taken by Rance.
Just bad choice and not a great kick. Rance just chipping wide. Martin's been quiet.
Just his third kick.
Gives to Delidio. Tigers trying to find their way in here. Carlton have got it well clogged. Up in Richmond's 50. Delidio in the revolt direction, but numbers against him, and Thornton read it well. So Carlton's footy, and the Blues with a 6-goal lead. Disappointing performance from the Tigers so far. Thornton, well, he didn't put it out on the full, and it wasn't a kick in, so at least it's a throw in, but he can be a little accident prone in those situations.
He's playing his 11th senior game this year. At the start of the year, I would have thought he may not have got too many, but injuries have given him opportunity, and to his credit, Thornton's taken the most of that opportunity.
So another bounce, just 30 metres from Richmond's goal.
Rob, I was just looking at Delidio. We all know he's a really good player. He's got a little bit of the ball today. Is it time, because their forward line's not functioning that well? I mean, perhaps we see him kick goals there a couple of years ago. They've tried to make him a half-back flanker, run-with player, just on cue.
On cue, yeah. Malcolm, nice handball to Nahas. Yaron was able to corral him. So Newman kicks it inside, attacking 50, and again poorly directed. Mark taken by Carrazzo.
There's no doubt Delidio's in Richmond's best 3 players. In fact, you might say he's their best player. He's won a couple of best and fairest already. And as an opposition coach, you don't want him anywhere near the goals because he can create and kick them.
Good hands from Waite. Front of Thursfield. Again, just not quite able to get the fist onto the footy.
We need some bag practice, that lad.
Here's White, but taken over by Helbig. So a throw in. The game not rising to great heights. Carlton could be pretty well pleased as they bounce back off a 6-goal defeat to be 6 goals in front well before half-time. A whistle, a hold around the contest, not in the ruck, and it was Judd being impeded to take the free kick for Carlton. You get the feeling he's done just as much as he has had to so far. Walker from behind. He has spring in his heels. He didn't have much of a run at that. Climbed very high. Judd, as the ball comes back in that general direction. Waite Thursfield in trouble again. Just able to get it away. Batchelor, Thursfield and Rance. Smother, ricocheted Nahas. Took a little time to get it under control, but does it okay in the end. And delivers to King.
So Jay King played well despite limited opportunities.
Just going back to Delidio, I mean, I know he's trying to get more goal kickers in his forward line by taking Riewoldt away from, you know, using Vickery and all that. But occasionally, I reckon at some stage of the year, you actually got to try and win a game of footy. Teaching can go out the door and just say, OK, let's put our best players in front. Let's give them a bit of space, the two of them. And all of a sudden, it puts a whole look different to their forward line.
Batchelor to Rance, so they get out of the danger area pretty well on that occasion. He chips, I'm not quite sure who to. Foley gets on the end of it, does well to keep it in, and kick towards a one-on-one. Riewoldt was held at the back. Thornton sees it over.
Because the big fellas aren't working down there today.
No.
You know, I mean, Delidio's a terrific player across half-back on the ball. We know Riewoldt's a star. Put them two coming out the square together, you've got a whole different concept of the game.
Now, there's a free kick here against Riewoldt.
Yeah, it is.
Abuse, is it?
Yeah, it is, Chris. He couldn't help himself. He thought he was being held.
Well, he was.
He kept chipping and chipping and chipping and just pushed it a bit too far.
Umpire Simon Overland got him.
Yeah. So Henderson is able to relieve the pressure, and we'll get a boundary throw in half forward for the Tigers.
Thought he'd hung up his whistle. Umpire Overland.
So, I mean, this is what happens. You end up getting frustrated because, anyhow, I'm sure they'll work it out, but I'd be very frustrated if I was Jack Riewoldt today too.
Newman, Jackson. And he's just inside the 50, so it is a scoring chance.
Dan Jackson's a hard goer. I really like the way he plays his football. He gives absolutely 100% to the Tigers week in, week out. Often gets the tight tagging jobs, the run-with roles. And in this game has spent a fair bit of time on Heath Scotland, who's been in ripper form for the Blues this year.
Tigers with just one goal in a quarter and a half of footy, so they badly need Daniel Jackson to deliver for them here. Not a big goal kicker, but a man who gets the job done on the footy field. This one fades away.
I'd love to see that goal kicking, Rob. I've got this theory now. There's absolutely, the more I watch the game, putting that right shoulder on the right goalpost for a right footer as you run in is your line-up mark. Most guys that do that miss to the right, and you'll see why they run just outside that goalpost line. It's just a perfect way to see the goal kicking.
So Yaron into Murphy, back to Yaron, and his kick is perfect to Wade. Now to Simpson. Look at the contrast in styles. Free running Blues. Now Murphy. By contrast, Richmond, very stop-start, although I've spoken too early. Murphy had plenty of time. No one applied a tackle. Warnock's handball, Porter, Carranzo. He's able to get out of trouble, though. And loose player on the wing, Jared Waite. Oh, gee, ordinary kick, but gets to its target, Ellard. Back to Murphy. Now he coughs it up. So good pressure in the end by Richmond.
Mark Murphy's
free kick to Murphy.
Mark Murphy's got the free kick. He's the luckiest player out there. He's had two muck-ups inside the centre square. I reckon he'll come off pretty quick. He's just about done.
Yaron, wide. In the path of Simpson. Who kicks on his non-dominant side towards full forward, reaching over, almost the mark taken by White. Blues have got the numbers. Walker, can he find a target? Kicks towards Betts. Garland at the back, couldn't take it. Now a chance for Waite. Low down, Thornton can break through, run to 15 and kick it for another. Well, too easy. Too easy for Carlton, and the margin blows out to 41 points.
Well, he's exhausted. You can see him getting directions with the coach. He might have been a bit cute with the footy through the middle of the ground, but he ran himself into an effort where he needed about 3 or 4 of those efforts all in one phase of play, Mark Murphy. He came off the ground completely spent. Feeling the picture, just a sense before that goal that maybe Carlton's just playing that cute footy that Brett Ratton accused them of last week.
Yeah, a little bit of that, but Thornton in the end kicking his 6th goal of the year. running out of the back half. Here go the Blues again, and they've almost put paid to this game. Garlett to Carazzo. Betts again flying with the big men. He was never going to mark that. Cochin, little hand in there, keeps the door open for the Blues. Ellard brought down by Rance. Lopped up by Vickery to Hooley. Awful kick. Might just hang inside. Carazzo dropping the mark.
Malcolm, we just saw free kick to Carlton. We saw that vision of Ratton talking to Murphy down at ground level. I guess that's the great advantage of a coach being at ground level. It didn't happen in our day.
No, ironically, it happened just before our day, Rob. All the coaches were down on the ground, and it's gone back. And I think young side, I think, probably not a bad idea. Once you get the team up and going, I think structures are pretty important.
It was the boundary throw-in, and Batchelor is wrapped up, so a bounce 55 metres from Carlton's goal.
And you know what? I don't think you should have a hard and fast rule. I mean, you are the coach, you have a lot of assistant coaches, and sometimes doing both's probably okay.
Poor bounce, and the umpire's going to recall it.
And anything slightly different sometimes, Rob. If it's not working one way, try the other.
It's interesting. Damien Hardwick's always got the headset on in communication with his assistants who are upstairs. Brett Ratton hasn't.
Warnock, Scotland. Now the kick into the pocket looking for Waits, and the umpire has paid the mark. Now Waite goes on with it quickly. Kick to Walker was a poor one. Walker can't break the Foley tackle. Judd, well done to Ledio. Walker, snap towards the goal square. Which way it'll bounce? Bounce through for a behind.
Richmond's made the call. Tommy Hislop's taken the green vest off. Ben Griffiths still downstairs. We haven't seen him reappear. There must be a problem with the ribs. He would have been back had he not. Having fought his way back from that shoulder reconstruction, that's terrible news for Ben Griffiths.
Edwards the long ball, and very well marked. It could have gone either way, but Jackson comes away with it. Revolt with the sit here on Henderson, and he can line them up from 40. Quick movement, and it's a different story when the ball comes into the 50.
Absolutely, Tim, and it was a really good mark taken by Jackson, and even better that he played on. And you can just see a little bit of contact made here. Bang. And he's a smart player, Jack Revolt. He'll do anyone when the ball's coming back like that.
6 in round 1 against the Blues. Previously hadn't kicked a lot of goals against them. He gets his first for the day here.
I know we've talked a bit about Henderson today, but I wouldn't mind him playing full forward for me and leaving him there.
Yeah, I think he's a terrific player.
It just has been up the ground a bit today. I've just been watching that. It's a bit of the way they've played.
Yeah.
But
he's smart, isn't he? And the other thing I like about him, when the ball hits the deck, he's just as dangerous.
Ben Griffiths is finally reimaged. There's Tom Hislop, who's taken the green vest off. Griffiths looks very, very sick. He's back on the bench. He looks in a very bad way. Maybe he's avoided any breaks, maybe some extremely bad internal bruising somewhere along the line, but good to see him back up here.
Thanks, Andy. Now Cochin an opportunity. 2 within a minute for the Tigers, perhaps. Yes! Trent Cochin has brought the Tiger Army alive, and the margin back to 30, but perhaps a little confidence and a good clearance there from Grigg. And he's a star, Trent Cochin.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a beauty, and he's played some really good games this year. It's been okay today, it hasn't been great, but that'll give him some buzz in him, and it's nice to see him stay out there.
Someone wise once said, easiest way to kick a goal is from a centre clearance, Malcolm.
Yes, it is. 7 seconds is the quickest one I've ever seen. Ruckman to the rave at goal. The full forward didn't even touch it.
Well, there's Griffiths. He's in a mountain of pain and disappointment, and just happened so easily. Just a contest going for a mark, hit the ground hard, and his day is over.
So after kicking 1 goal in about 45 minutes, the Tigers kick 2 in a minute, but give up a free kick here to Ellard.
Oh, and 50s.
And they might have given up a goal.
Now, why is the 50, Chris?
I'm not sure.
Well, they didn't give the ball back immediately because he wasn't sure. He wasn't sure whose ball it was.
High contact. Martin with the footy.
Who was it? Which one? That
waving.
one or that one?
Yeah, too long.
Oh, come on.
No, I'm just saying what it was paid for.
Oh, yeah, no, I knew that. But it was just, he said, was it that one or that one?
Yep.
And he threw it.
It's a bit tough.
Why do they do that?
Such a big penalty.
Ellard from 45. Not a clean kick, but it's straight.
Oh, dear me.
Well, it's such a big penalty to pay for something that wasn't a 50-metre penalty, and Dustin Martin won't be happy about that, and nor will his coach.
Well, if I was his coach, I'd ignore it.
Yeah.
Damien Harwood can look on, but this is pretty legitimate. Whose is it? That one or that one? Oh, no, I'll throw it to that one.
Unless the umpire was saying that Martin was talking to one of his teammates to pick up an opponent.
There's a shot of Trent Cotchin. He kicked the last goal for the Tigers. He's now in the midfield. Saw him up in Sydney in the wet, miss a goal, and after the game, believe this, boys, after the game, he came back on the ground when the crowd had gone home and practiced the shot that he'd missed half a dozen times.
There you go.
Carazzo with the job on Cotchin at the minute. So what on Vickery works in front of Warnock. Judd spreads it wide to Scotland. Normally uses it very well, he's Scotland, and this is no exception. Well, spoke too soon. Murphy, good tackle by Newman. Yaron comes to assist. Nahas didn't let go. Well played. So as a consequence, the kick skied towards half forward. Cotchin couldn't hold on this time. Judd finds the footy, but going nowhere. A bounce 55 from Carlton's goal.
Straight up, boys. Straight up, boys.
So it's the Blues by 36. Judd, 13 uses of the ball, getting close to half-time. Maybe just under his average or fairly close to it, but perhaps not quite having the influence he sometimes does. Here's Simpson, who's been pretty good for the Blues, weaves his way into the clear. Walker with a little bit of a nudge, but adjudged legitimate. Rance, I think, a bit disappointed.
I reckon there was a nudge there, Tim.
With hands in the back,
well,
nothing else.
What is it if it's not hands in the back? If the rule is there, why is it not applied in that
Well, that was
situation?
clearly hands in the back, and the umpire, the worst part about that was in a good spot to see it.
Walker goalless so far. Blues looking to restore the 7-goal lead they had about 5 minutes ago, and they do.
Well,
there's a lot of angst down there, Malcolm, amongst the Carlton forwards and Tiger defenders, and a lot of verbal going on.
I can understand why after this. I thought it was a free kick against. It was a legitimate middle hand in the back, wasn't it? Legitimate push under.
And Chris Judd playing deep in Carlton's forward line, and Brett Delidio going with him.
So 7 goals, Carlton's advantage. Tigers kick 2 in a minute. The Blues responded, kicking the last 2. Beautifully done by Cruiser to Murphy to White. Spreads it wide into the path of Carazzo. Does well. The handball missed the mark. Nahas couldn't gather. Now Yaron. Been very good again this afternoon.
I love it.
Delays the decision. Composed. White. Now Robinson, who had an outstanding opening quarter, had 9 disposals in the first quarter. Now has had 7 in this quarter. Off to Thornton.
That's what the good teams really do, don't they? Spread it, wide it.
Simpson, gave Post a good look at it, and he fists over the line. Boundary throw in half forward for Carlton.
Don't you love blokes with pace that can play footy?
Don't you get excited when Chris Yaron gets the footy, because you just sort of take your eyes off him and say, well, who's setting themselves? Because he'll put it to your advantage if you move to the right spot.
Beautiful bring down by Cruiser, but Carazzo fumbled it, and Carlton have to work their way out of that spot. They do it well. Murphy to Gibbs, too far out to score, puts it in the right spot, precisely the right spot for Eddie Betts, who will line up for his second.
Well, what Gibbs did, he's just played on it. It was a kick on the curve, and you say he put it to the right spot, Tim. He probably did, but that sort of ball coming in quick like that, it's a 50-50, and a forward doesn't want any more odds than that, and it's just good thinking by Gibbs.
Who does kick the goal, and the Blues have it out to 48 points before half-time.
He's had a great quarters, Mark Murphy. He really has played well. Good jump from Gibbs. He's tall enough, Rob, isn't he? Just he can play that spot we were talking earlier.
Yeah, absolutely.
He can play a lot of spots, can't he? On the ball, probably up forward, and can probably play key back on the right leg.
Yeah, I reckon you're right, Malcolm. Bryce Gibbs can play anywhere, and he's probably spent more time at Carlton in his career, just played over the 100 games playing in defence, but he can certainly play midfield, but they have to use him in defence because the defence has been ordinary. It's getting better and better, and now we see him playing across the half-forward line, and he's thoroughly enjoying it.
So from the bounce, umpire calls for it again.
You know what I've enjoyed is Cruiser. And every time he's gone for the ball up forward, it's always gone to the front. It never goes over the back. I mean, he just keeps it at the front.
So he's predictable, isn't he? He's predictable to the Carlton players, which in turn means goals.
Yeah.
So Warnock gets the free kick off to Simpson.
Let's have a look. See, he's
Inside
got to beat 2.
50, he was pushed
Still
out.
in the front. Still in the front.
Perhaps could have got a free kick. The crumbs by Murphy. His kick wide. Gibbs couldn't quite find it.
So he was under that, but he still brought it at the front somehow.
Yeah, well, he's courageous, he's strong, and above all, he's smart. And if his Carlton teammates know that he'll give a contest and it keeps falling to the front, they'll take advantage.
So an awful first half for the Tigers. Just really 1 minute of sunshine in which they kicked 2 goals in the middle stages of this quarter. They might be giving up another one here. Cruiser and Walker. Robinson there calling for it. He gets it. He has nowhere to go, and he kicks it into Cruiser's head, and he gets a very big ricochet straight to Jackson. Long clearing ball. Jake King arrives third in line, recovers well, and gets a free kick for a push in the back.
In the back, Jake King.
In the last minute of the half, let's have a look at Cruiser off Mitch Robinson's boot.
And look. And guess what?
He brought it to the front.
Brought it to the front. Correct way. Exactly.
Oh, that was flush.
That's the best line of the year, Tim. He brought it to the front.
That's it.
Meantime, Revolt has an opportunity in the dying seconds of the half. That would have hurt.
Just long as it misses the nose.
I
think it just got missed the nose, the schnoz and the cheekbone.
I can remember Sid Jackson down at Geelong years and years ago doing a drop kick into the face of Peter Walker, and it knocked him out.
Yeah.
So Jack Revolt, wonderful kicking action. Has he got the carry? He has. Goal to the Tigers. So Revolt has goal number 2. And the margin back to 43, but a long way back here for Richmond.
Just watching the build-up. Great kick, isn't it? I mean, that's nearly 2. He got beat by the body one. Have a look. He's as close as he can be. Didn't want to sprint hard. So just watching this camera as we watch them here. He's trying hard to... He's right there again. It's okay.
He just had enough on it. The Blues defenders were hopeful that they might have touched it above the line, but the goal umpire felt it had carried the journey. So the Tigers pull one back. Seconds before half-time. Carlton with 7 seconds left. Possession of the ball. Looks as though they're going to take it the circuitous route, and that's not going to get them a result. Judd. And the siren sounds with the ball in flight. So the half comes to an end. Carlton by 43 points, 5-1 in the first quarter, 6-3 in the second. Blues can be pretty well pleased, boys.
Oh, they certainly are, and they've played pretty well. They've played well as a team. Robertson, Murphy, Judd and Carrazzo, all their on-ballers have got a real good share of it.
it is Richmond to the punt road end, although they're taking it the other way. Warnock with it now. Well tackled.
And Carlton persisting with Henderson playing a fullback on Revolt. He had a pretty good first half on him, and Simon White up there at full forward.
Cochin over the ball. Umpire Schmidt has got him. Malcolm. Another one bites the dust.
Yeah, beauty.
Gibbs takes the free, steers it for White's lead. Boundary umpire will hurl it in. Here we go.
Just an update on that other game, Tim. Gold Coast, Blighty have hit the front. They lead by 5.
Tim, I'm focusing on Richmond and Carlton today.
Sound as though you're focusing on your lunch.
You mean that little biscuit I just had?
He's eating these little Arnott biscuits, Malcolm.
Yeah, I just...
So behind for the Blues, Thursfield into the back pocket, and Farmer has marked. So 44 points, Carlton's advantage. Poor kick, and the mark taken by Ellard. And that's been, well, low light of Richmond's first half. Their turnovers. Kick by Ellard, looking for Walker. Well done, Helbig. Waite backs him up. Simpson jams it on the boot to a dangerous spot. Robinson's kicked a couple. Not this time. Offline, through for a behind.
So you look at a player like him and you think, where's that improvement come on from over summer? Just another pre-season, perhaps a good pre-season, and he's really become a player of some substance.
Pretty handy size, Malcolm. He's for a midfielder, he's quite tall.
Good ball, Deledio, and nicely snared from behind by Rance. Tigers with a lot of catching up to do. 45 points. Disappointing opening half. Vickery hasn't really been able to have impact as a tall forward. Carlton's undersized defence has been able to do the job pretty well. Hooley, Edwards taking off, didn't realise Gibbs was coming from the other side.
And there's the two mates wrapped up, Cochin and Cruiser, who played together in the under-18s, great friends.
And this is where it seems an anomaly, Malcolm, that a player plays on and the team comes to grief. You'd think that is where a free kick was in order, whereas when a player's at ground level, actually contesting the ball, so often he's penalised. Good smother, Robinson, but Edwards eventually swings it forward for the Tigers. Vickery again the target. Thornton able to make the spoil. Jackson outside 50. Made pretty good contact, just hooking it slightly.
They had an option to give it off to Martin, who was a few metres in front of him. And Martin would have been in the clear. Jackson then could have shepherded, but he went for goal with no success. So Laidler at full-back.
He's gone down the middle again, Crusoe. He's done this several times.
Looking for Cruiser, and he finds him despite the efforts of Cochin. Off to Scotland. Full of run, the Blues. Kick wide in the direction of Waite. Waits for it to bounce and then gathers. Well done there by Thursfield on that occasion. And we'll get a boundary throw in between half-forward and wing for the Blues.
I reckon that might be a strategy. Laidler's got the foot in his hands. That means he'll kick long down the middle of the ground to Cruiser. Seen it happen twice today.
Cruiser to Judd to Robinson. Concedes ground back to Scotland. He hoists it high towards the pocket. Coming out, Walker couldn't quite hold on. Now Waite. Kept his arms clear. Handball back to Judd. Judd, 40 from goal. Left foot snap. Warnock, good shepherd. Goal to Carlton. They've started well in this third quarter.
Yeah, that's the champ's first goal for the day. Good contest here from Walker, wasn't it? Nearly got it, just walked by. Waite's really started to get into the game. Judd's not a long left foot kick. It's probably an awkward one for a champ, but it's effective and he's kicked one.
Judd becomes Carlton's 10th goal kicker shortly after half-time as Rebecca, round and lovely, looks on.
Any chance there's twin boys in there, Tim?
Be handy, wouldn't it? Has he got his 50 games up for the Blues yet?
That's bias, you blokes.
Murphy, Scotland, Looks for an option well outside, and that man is Gibbs. Is Robinson again. And that's a pretty good placement for Ellard if he gets the bounce he needs, and he does. And Carlton pressing once more. Cruiser with position, strength and good hands takes the mark and will line them up.
Well, he just presents forward, as Malcolm said in that first half. The big fella, there's no frills about him. He'll just eyes on the footy and work for that front position. And if he doesn't mark it, it'll come to front. And gee, he's what's this, game number 3 back after being out for 12 months, and his first game back was terrific. Last week was ordinary, and today's been really good.
Blues lead by 50. Cruiser a little tentative on the kick. Wonder how much we will see him playing this role of getting forward and taking big marks as his career develops.
Tim, I think he's the perfect player for modern footy. You know, the fact that he can ruck and also play key forward, he's going to be a beauty.
Now, particularly with the sub rule, where teams are going to need that second ruckman type who can play forward. He is, as you say, Malcolm, the ideal player.
Lee Brown does it for Collingwood too, doesn't he?
And with a player the height of Warnock, you really don't want him in the forward line too often, so he needs to ruck 70% of it.
Yep. Good mark taken by Robinson, who's had an outstanding day today.
I've got a theory on a couple of these players, Rob. Robinson and Scotland. Well, they can get their own ball. They're very good outside.
Cruiser again in the target. Now, push out. This time a Richmond free kick.
Correct.
And it'll come back to Thursfield at full back for the Tigers. Chips to Deledio.
When you've got a lot go like Judd, attracting people and he contests the ball, Scotland just sits off the pack. Robinson takes his turn at sitting off the pack, and so does Murphy. It's almost the perfect system.
Yeah.
So Martin now chips, and well done by Vickery. Worked his way to the front of Warnock to take the mark. Didn't go off the line there, but the umpire still called play on, and the kick is good. Well done by Hislop, and Martin involved. Edwards did well, get it over the top to Deledio. Back to Martin. Good pressure from the Blues. He's forced to kick across the ground, and the mark's taken by Hooley. So the congested forward 50. Oh, gee, he was off Nahas. Betts let him go because he didn't want to give away 50. And he squares it wide to Newman. Newman kicks it long to the goal square. Vickery left alone, and he takes the mark, 25 from goal.
Gee, it was a good kick by Newman. The captain turned around on the left boot and hoiked that a good 60 metres. And Damien Hardwick would be happy with that. Here we see the kick. It is just an absolute scorcher.
I'm not sure who was meant to be on Vickery there, Rob.
I was actually watching Rewald and Henderson to see what was going on. Henderson at 13 leads, I reckon, Rewald. Seriously, in that build-up, he worked his butt off, but Henderson was with him the whole way. Good stuff.
Had a good year, Vickery. Kicked 25 goals for the Tigers in 13 games before today, but it's been pretty quiet this afternoon. From 30 metres, he squeezed it through. So the Tigers with their first of the quarter after a wonderful piece of work from Chris Newman, and the margin back to 45.
Scores from stoppages, and you can see the clearances. Carlton dominating 31-11, but importantly they've been able to kick goals from a lot of those clearances. This is interesting. Looks like Post is doing the ruck work for Richmond. Vickery's playing in the forward line, and Brown is on the interchange bench, so they've decided to have their third ruckman in at the centre bounce.
And with the big height advantage, Warnock wouldn't mind the second ball up and the throw up, and it's an easy takeaway for Carlton. Judd for his second of the quarter. Oh, it's a beauty. A monster. And for everything Richmond produce at one end, Carlton trump and up from the other.
Oh, classic Warnock down. There's great give from Murphy back to Judd. And then Judd summed it up. Look at this, ruckman versus non-ruckman. Great jump, great give, even better kick.
Big bloke down to the little bloke, gives it off, gets it back, kicks a goal.
I think it's going to take more than 7 seconds because there were 2 gives in that. So it's probably about 11 seconds or 12 seconds. He's pretty happy with that too, Chris Judd, and so he ought to be. That was brilliant team stuff.
Gee, started the third quarter well, Judd.
Well, we just put up the clearance stats and the goals kicked from them by Carlton, and as if on cue it happened.
Now Judd again fighting hard in the centre circle.
Just trying to gain possession.
And another bounce.
Yeah, I just think that they should have gone for the world record there.
It's a reason to preserve the bounce. I mean, throw it up.
Yeah.
The tall bloke's going to win every time.
Deledio, Edwards scrambles a kick towards half forward. Tui playing in front of King. Now play on the call. They both stop. So Tui, plenty of time to get it back to Thornton, who wheels onto the left boot and spots up Robinson. Now he's got a loose player on the wing, Simpson, who worked hard from the centre circle. Post to post, so he plays on, kicks towards Betts all by himself inside the attacking 50, 35 from goal. Hard to imagine how a player of his quality can be left alone for that long inside the forward 50.
Well, 2 good kicks helped create it, Chriso, and the Mitch Robinson halfback flank to the wing was a beauty, which in turn meant that Simpson could run and carry, gave him a little bit of time, and he had the short one to Gibbs or the longer one to Betts.
So Betts has kicked 2 already. Makes no mistake with goal number 3. And this is getting ugly for the Tigers. Margin out to 57 points.
And they're enjoying each other's work too, aren't they? They're a pretty happy team at Carlton. And last week might have done them good, Rob. You know, it's just a little awakening.
No, I agree with you, Malcolm. I saw that game against the Eagles and they were flattened down. The Eagles did play really, really well, and I just thought coming away from it won't do these players too much harm to have a loss.
21 goals in his last 8 games against Richmond, including this one. So Eddie Betts averaging the best part of 3 per outing against the Tigers. Warnock having a breather. Cruiser in the ruck. Post against him, and Post wins. Murphy there on the defensive side.
What's made Murphy a better player, Malcolm?
Actually, just what he did then, Rob, he still went for the ball as the body came at him. I just reckon as he's got a bit older, he's got a bit harder, just looks a bit thicker set, you know, worked a couple more years in the gym. He's certainly not frightened to put his body in now.
This time Brown rucks, and Cruiser got first hand onto it. Chance for Jackson here, who's had a couple of goes at them. Foley, Revolt on the lead. Well put together by Richmond. Henderson hasn't made a bad fist of it, really. If Revolt kicks this, it'll be his 3rd, which probably, well, gives him the honours, clearly. And yet, he's had to do it from not too many opportunities. Henderson couldn't have done much more.
Well, he's got 3 like this, Jack. He took another great mark with his body. I mean, I think this is about the future.
And steered right through the middle by the Coleman medalist, his 3rd.
So he's got 3 kicks like that, and he's kicked 2 goals, 1 from them. Lace out, absolute perfect kicks from the midfield. And I think that when you look back at the Henderson tape so far, he's been in his shadow, was what I used to call it. And, you know, he's been pretty clean. He hasn't given away the free kick. Rewald's had to take the mark. So I think it's been a really good exercise. But this bloke, I reckon he's on the way to being a champ. I know he's a Coleman medalist, but I think he's a really good player as well. And to kick 3 goals in a losing team, he's still trying his guts out. And it's been some great kicking to him for those 3 goals.
Well, the inside 50's almost doubled to Carlton's advantage, so he hasn't had that many opportunities, Revolt.
Grigg trying to get it to Foley, to no effect, and Carlton an opportunity coming up to meet it. Well played, Helby. Oh, he ran into a brick wall in Robinson, and he nailed him.
Oh, you're right there, Chris. A brick wall, all right.
He wasn't moving for anything. Look at this, bang.
That's pretty good.
Now that is the one that should be holding the ball.
Well, he
took them on.
Exactly.
So Yaron an opportunity. Just a little fumble there from Chris Yaron. We don't see that very often. And as a consequence, allows the Tigers in. Foley to Nahas. No support for the moment. Now he gets it to Edwards. Foley. Oh, handball intended for Nahas. got intercepted, and now Nas has got a problem.
Good tackle by Cruiser.
And just the handball over the top, hitting the fingers and not being effective. So as a consequence, Carlton now go forward. Simpson's kick, not the best of bets. He keeps it in though, to the advantage of Murphy. Edwards does well to force it over boundary throw in at half forward for the Blues.
And this is the advantage of having Cruiser as your ruckman, because as a ruckman, he can put on tackles like a midfielder.
Here's Cruiser taking him off balance right from the outset and not slamming the head, which is good to see. Whether those are done deliberately or by accident is not always easy to discern. Murphy to the goal square, and it is very well snared by Walker.
And again, Tim, it was Cruiser who featured at ground level to feed that ball out. So he's a two-in-one player. He can compete in the ruck, and he can also get plenty of the footy when the ball's at ground level, put the tackles on, and that makes him really dangerous and such an effective player.
He's become a goal scorer this year, Andrew Walker. He kicks his second for the day and brings up the Carlton century.
Frustration. Matthew Cruiser doubled here, Malcolm. There's the tackle in the midfield to earn the free kick, and then he does the ruck work, and we'll see the big fella here. He doubles up, puts the smother on, gets the handball out to advantage, and Carlton goal.
So from the bounce again, Judd finds the football. Warnock. Disputed ball. Well done by Newman, fighting hard with Scotland to tie it up in the centre. 57 points. Carlton by 22 at quarter time, by 43 at the long break, and continuing to career away. 57 points. Warnock, shark by Edwards. In fact, it was Deledio. Now a chance for Martin. Clever handball to Edwards. Now Nahas wants his right, but wobbles a torpedo towards half forward, and coming to meet it Layla, who marks comfortably low down at centre half back.
Former Cat back in the Carlton team to Warnock, wanting to give it off by hand. Now Laidler goes out wide to Simpson. Blues by 57. So really the game is virtually decided. Lead here from Walker, who was pushed in the back by Batchelor, or a hand was placed in the back. Thursfield it was, placed in the back. And so the umpire pays a free kick, and it's Robinson again there for the hand pass. The kick to Betts. Spillage though to Edwards, to Jackson. Went underground with the kick, and it was well executed and pretty smart. Robinson getting a hand onto it though, seeing it over the line.
Doc's just been out with Robbie Warnock. If they're going to be a good side, Carlton, this year, they're going to need him to stand up, and he's just been hobbling around. Hopefully, for Carlton's sake, he's going to be able to run off whatever's been ailing him in the last 30 seconds or so.
Thanks, Andy. Martin, another underground handball, this time to Jackson, who off one step kicks straight to Russell. And that's happened a couple of times this afternoon.
Just following up Andy Warnock, I've seen him do this a lot of games. He gets very tight in second halves.
Yeah, and he's an elite runner too, Blighty, so they don't have an issue with that. But yeah, he's probably running out of steam.
Yeah.
Great tackle, Revolt on Henderson. Vickery intended the handball to Foley. Scotland did well to chop it off. Now Carlton can get out of defence. Carazzo, Ellard back to Scotland, sweeps it. Simpson. They seem to do it so effortlessly, and beautiful kick by Simpson to Betts. Robinson again pumps it long towards the goal square. Gibbs has a good chance here. Oh, he got up, got hands to it, couldn't take it at ground level. Murphy, Garlett sniffing as well. And the umpire, yes, they're in trouble, the Tigers, at the base of the pack. Now it's got to come back. Garlett kicks the goal. The man at the back was at the bottom of the pack was Hislop. So free kick. Now who's going to take it? Any number of them. Let's watch this again. Dives on the ball. Is it in the back?
Yes.
Bit unfair, Malcolm.
I think 80% of them are in the back, to be honest.
Agree.
Well, that one was certainly lucky that Murphy will kick the goal. 63 points the advantage now. Mark Murphy with his first of the afternoon. And he's been a good player again, 21 disposals.
Big Rob Warnock rolls the ankle in that ruck contest. He's up and about, but he's rucked really well. 28 hit-outs, 8 to advantage.
I wasn't going to go to him before, just saying that's what he needs to get that endurance factor, doesn't it, in games?
Oh, he does.
I mean, you can be a runner, but you still got to jump up. That's the problem. I mean, it's hard work for a ruckman. That's why they're better when they're older, Rob, as they get a bit older.
So another ball up. A lot of work went in there. No movement of the ball. Cochin, the offender there, having some words to say. A free kick to Carlton. Carazzo putting it into the 50 again, and Waite's hands wrapping around it. And he'll be lining them up once more.
Well, I would think Damien Hardwick would be really angry that he's got players out there. Let's have a look at Cochin. You can see Cochin to the right of screen.
Now, again, 2 Carlton players over there. That should have been a Richmond free kick.
And umpire Vozzo is one that you don't mess with. Some umpires would let that go. He's one who won't.
Holding the ball again at issue. Lovely kick from Waite. Blues go further ahead.
I think the big story for Carlton this game so far has been Waite and Robinson. Waite's really starting to get himself into the game after a slowy start, but been good.
Oh, Waite, yeah, I agree with you, Malcolm. I think
just coming back into the team.
He's been out for a few weeks, and it took him a while to get going, but now he's presenting strongly at the ball, getting lots of opportunities, of course.
Now,
it's a good contest, all that. I don't have a problem with that.
and there's the discussion from Cochin, just reminding the umpire about the free kick that was paid against Hislop just a few moments earlier. So Warnock down, and they go for it again, the Blues. Wait, not this time. Chance for Hawley. Oh, it took a long time to dispose of the footy. Around the corner to Nahas. Ellard, been another good contributor. Dragged over the line, so a boundary throw in half forward for Carlton.
Well, young Ellard does a job week in, week out for the Blues. He's not one of their named players, but he's becoming one of their very important ones. Jackson,
Good strength. Into the path of Nahas, almost threw it out to Edwards. Edwards long towards half forward. Now Revolt in a one-on-one here with Henderson, nudged out of the way by Henderson. That was smart play, and then escapes the clutches of Revolt. Well played, Lockie Henderson. Gibbs in support, and Carlton can mount another attack right down the middle onto the chest of Betts. Runners to his outside, Chris Judd, long towards the goal square. Walker. Champagne stuff from the Blues.
Well, Lockie Henderson, and you can see the players in the Carlton backline running across to him, and they are saying, well done, young fella, because not only did he win the contest, but then he backed himself to run and carry and bounce and then get the handball across to Gibbs.
3 goals for Andrew Walker. And the margin now 75 points.
I'm glad we still call it football. Kicking's just makes the game, makes your side, makes your team. Rob, this is Henderson. Just used his body to get Rewalt under the ball, then showed some calm. This is what I like. And this is a forward player going defence, which we've spoken a fair bit about in the the game. I'm really glad they've done this. They may have just found a player here. Now you've seen him do it, make him hungry for it.
Yeah, and he's getting recognition. His teammates ran to him and congratulated him on that effort.
Carlton's footy again. Blues tearing Richmond apart here. Warnock getting the kick forward into space out on the flank. Garlett, the first man there. Clever little kick under the smother, and Waite has it again.
Well, Rance had a decision to make. Rance is Waite's opponent, and as that ball got kicked into Carlton's forward line, he took off. We'll have a look at it here. Rance has decided he's going to leave Waite, and it was a bold decision.
Jared Waite, fresh from his first goal, is across the face, and it's a minor. The Blues now with 12 goal kickers who kicked 7-2 in this quarter, and they are really finishing the job on the Tigers.
And Tim, it'd be a nice time for Ryan Houlihan to come on the Carlton subs, just replace Simon White, who just pulled up a bit short in a little incident just in front of the Carlton goals about 4 or 5 minutes ago. We'll keep an eye on him. Nothing too serious, it would appear. Houlihan gets a quarter and a bit to get some footy.
Hey, Andy, this would be pretty good for the Blues percentage, wouldn't it?
Come on now, Blighty.
Richmond, arguably their best passage of play for the afternoon, ends with Edwards, who thumps it towards full forward, scrapes it in for a behind. Vickery and Rewalt down there, and Edwards decided to go for home.
Oops.
That's the injury to White.
Was it the back? Was it his hammy at the back?
Looked like it.
He sort of went to put his hand on the leg and then didn't.
They had a look at his left knee when he came off, but they didn't seem too concerned about it at all.
Margin 75 as Russell has a good target in Cruiser.
Goes to the
Well
front.
made by Hislop, effectively. Yet down to the front.
Down to the front. Oh, you picked it up, Tim. I know.
So half forward for the Tigers. And this is really one of their more disappointing days of the year. Free kick to Carlton, ruck infringement. Advantage called Judd to Carazzo, delivery to Waite, and the Blues running rampant up forward. Garlett provides an option. He's got a call in the corridor from Simpson. He prefers Warnock. I think Simpson might have been the right option, but maybe Garlett didn't get him into his eye line.
No, I don't. Just out of his peripheral vision, I reckon, on that occasion. Good work there from first field.
Would have liked to seen his hands out in front, Rob, instead of trying to make it on the chest.
Yeah.
So, chance for Newman, captain for Richmond. Kick to the wing. Now, Yaron's just come on the ground and is able to scoop it up effortlessly. Little chip kick, okay. Houlihan, the sub, on the ground, drives it long towards the goal square. Waits.
He's a good player, this guy. I know he makes some bad decisions with his kicking sometimes, but I think this is the guy. They can go really places with him in good form.
Well, I think he's their most important player.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bloke called Judd, probably.
Well, no, I don't know about that. I think he adds something up forward that they haven't got. He's the only real genuine tall target. And he's a class player. So Wade has a couple, and Carlton extend their lead to 81 points.
As we mentioned, Yaron just came on and the ball fell into his path, and Houlihan, the substitute player who's only just come on, he gets a touch. And it's an 8-goal-2 quarter.
He's taken 10 marks, Jared Waite.
And perhaps Chriso, the player they could least afford to be without in big games.
I think Judd's their best player, but in terms of exactly right, Tim, he's the most important player, because with him in the team, they are very, very potent up forward.
Oh, yeah.
Cruiser favoured by the bounce, but Cochin, his mate, takes it off his bring down. Russell, clever spoil. Carazzo, Scotland, Houlihan and Carlton just doing it at ease at the moment. Houlihan, who set the ball up for Waite to take that mark and kick a goal, and valued at Carlton for his ball usage skills, and there they are to Gibbs.
I can see Houlihan getting a dozen touches here, you know, because he's so fresh.
65 out, puts it top of the square. Bets down, and misses, sprays the kick. Possibly could have given the hand pass.
Well, I think Jared Waite has got up high, and poor old Buster Brown's got the kick in the back.
We'll have the marks to tell the story later on. Ashley Brown. Andrew Brown, I should say. So the Tigers now get it to the wing, but it's all Carlton. 3-on-1 in that contest. Tui thumps it back towards Warnock, and good mark taken this time by Thursfield. Off to Helbig, and his short kick marked by Foley.
I think you've got to look at the reasons why this is happening. And I mean, the midfield of Carlton was absolutely smashed Richmond's midfield.
Yeah, and benefited by the ruck work of Warnock in particular.
So they work it to the other back pocket. Hawley, Martin over the top, needs support. Nahas put him under the pump. Handball ineffective. Another turnover. Walker, Grigg. Oh, he coughs it up. Murphy from 49. Drop punt across the face. Warnock, yes, pay the mark between the goal and point post. Tough shot. But he is a target for them, obviously, up forward. Hasn't spent a lot of time up forward this afternoon, but that was a strong mark.
If he kicks this, it will be Carlton's 13th goal kicker, which will equal their best for the year. Can he hit the stick?
Inside of the post.
How many players have hit the stick this year, Rob?
I don't know, Malcolm.
Thought you were keeping count, Wolsey.
Richmond really having a hell of a time trying to get it out of the back half right now. Hooley's kick is okay to Foley. Deledio. Carlton applying fierce pressure. Worked around well. Foley, Martin, Judd's got him. Deledio there to help him out. Places it well for Grigg to collect and keep going. Good movement here. Vickery, Thornton. Thornton just edging him under. And coming away with the spill to Yaron. Down the corridor. Houlihan gives it back to him. And the Blues are in motion. Yaron cutting through the middle. Carazzo just forced to divert a little. And the kick difficult for Scotland. And well played by Rance to work it clear. Farmer eventually taking it over.
Well, you can see there the inside 50s just about double there by Carlton. So been a really lean afternoon for the Tigers. Jack Revolt not getting many opportunities up forward at all.
Cochin well tackled by Judd. Foley, haphazard handball under pressure. Robinson did well to Ellard. Long towards Waite. 1-on-1 again, Waite. Oh, gee, was he held? No. Betts at the back. Soccer goal. $89 points. Eddie Betts has goal number 4. And this Richmond team now is looking very ordinary.
Pretty good handball from Robinson, wasn't it? Beauty.
Great work on his back.
Yeah.
Waite probably lucky not to get a free kick. Didn't matter. Betts first to arrive.
Forward line's dangerous. It's officially dangerous. I know they played the Eagles last week without Waite, though. I reckon they've been dangerous all year. They've got a really good mix.
Good mix with Waite there and in form. Without him and with their midfield quelled last week, they look quite down on strike power. Relied hugely on Betts and Garlett, who of course make a great contribution, but they can't be expected them to win games on their own against quality teams. Here go the Tigers. Newman to Batchelor. 2-on-1 Carlton's way, and it was a good mark by Yaron. Pressure coming from behind. Huge quarter by the Blues. 9 goals. 9 goals 6 to Richmond, 2 goals 2. And the leader's blown out to 89 points at the last change.
So final quarter underway. Blues by 89 points. Brown fighting hard at the base of the pack. Umpire gives him the benefit of the doubt. And we'll get another bounce.
Rob, you know, we were talking earlier in that last quarter about Damien Hubbard being on the ground or up the top. I reckon they play Essendon next week, just for a change. Go and have a look at the game from up top.
Yeah.
I mean, add to your coaching. I know he's done it before, but just see what might be going wrong. They've lost, what, 4 of the last 5?
No, I agree with you. I think you should mix it up. There's reasons why he's down there, but there's lots of advantages being up top.
So the kick comes to Jackson. A rare clearance for the Tigers. There's a long kick. This is right on the edge of his range, I reckon. Decides to kick into the pocket. Revolt. Third man up. Fisted away by Cruiser. Loose footy. Cruiser finds it somehow. Well done, Houlihan. Controlled the awkward ball very well to Judd. Judd long beyond the centre. Weight up. Oh, gee. No one ahead of him. Eddie Betts runs into space. Open goal face. Can he kick it? No. It scrapes in for a behind. Couldn't add to his tally of 4 goals, 1. Well, he did. He added a behind. 4 goals, 2 now for the afternoon for Eddie Betts.
Excellent additions, Michael.
It's the goal shared around, but Betts is the standout with 4. Walker has 3 for Carlton. Tigers use the corridor at the kick-in, and Jaden Post goes for Brown, who is a lumberer. I think it can be said without distorting the truth. Nahas and Martin. Back to Nahas. That was sloppy from Dustin Martin, who hasn't had a good day. Nicely done, Robinson, who has. In fact, it's been one of his best. And Jared Waite's having a picnic.
Well, Jared Waite marked number 12.
Mitch Robinson's disposal tally up to 27. His best ever 34 in a league game. Waite, 2 third-quarter goals, is across the face here, and it touched the behind post, so it'll be thrown in. Margin 90.
12 marks, 18 disposals for Jared Waite. Cruiser in front. Brown reaches over the top. Murphy from 20 kicks another. "96 points, the advantage." And you can see Thursfield there with Murphy, but too much space at the back of the pack on a stoppage inside the attacking 50.
Yes, Michael, they've got smashed. Tim, a question for you. How many nervous 90s have been on this ground? We've got into the nervous 90s with the Blues.
You've got me on that one, Malcolm. I might have to drag out my wisdom, which I don't normally bring to the footy.
Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 Carlton players. Been very good to Martin, the best of the Tigers.
Well, I think it's just about time to start assessing the Tigers' sorry day here. The leader's getting towards 100, and in fact Walker, no, he hasn't been paid that. Murphy's got it though to Garland, who has got it now, and he does bring up the 100. Carlton by 102 points.
Well, I know you'll know this one, Tim. How many hundreds have been got here?
Just have to find test centuries, Malcolm. Is that a mark?
Just about
almost,
a mark. Yeah. In the end, didn't control it to the end. Have a look at Murphy. Low to the ground and the strength. Keeps his balance.
So Carlton, Betts and Rob, this is just too easy.
Yeah, have a look at Mark Murphy. Just shrugs the tackler off. I think one of the disappointing aspects of the Tigers today has been their poor tackling efforts. So many of their tackles have been broken by Carlton.
Jackson's kick smothered, then Soccer's forward, only as far as Russell. Judd drives it deep. Here's Waite again. Oh, he's got it. He's got it again. This time a post to post. 13 marks for Jared Waite, coming in for his 19th disposal and kicking at goal number 3.
6 of them have been contested marks, which is a great result.
From 45, beautiful kick. Richmond fans, well, dedicated. They look like they're staying to the end. The margin now 108 points. And look at the left hand, the right hand used to defend post and then mark pretty comfortably in the left.
Take a leaf out of Drew Peachey's book from last week. Everyone's starting to mark one-handed. Got a bit of time to practice now these days, though. It's a pretty sad day, isn't it, for the Tigers? Come here thinking you're half a chance. Absolutely get shellacked.
And their season, after showing promise through the first half, is really falling away. And this is the blackest day. There can be little doubt about that. They're scarcely giving a contest now. Cochin taking it wide. Russell a bit tall for Edwards, able to get a hand in there. Edwards fighting on at ground level, forcing a ball up. This will be Carlton's 7th consecutive win over Richmond, something they've achieved only twice in history, and their longest ever sequence was back during World War I. So just one 7-win sequence since then in the 1980s. High ball from Jackson, Houlihan with Hislop under it. Foley and Farmer just took too long. And the hand pass picked off, although now the Tigers do some picking off of their own. Martin de Nahas to an unguarded goal, and they pull one back.
Yeah, that's, what else can you say? But it finally came from a missed handball or a straight smother from a second attempt. And Nahas, we know, he's actually tried, hasn't he? He's had 18, 19 goes at it. Been half lively.
Malcolm, we see a shot of Jack Riewoldt there. He's just had the one disposal in the second half. Not his fault, because the ball just hasn't got there. And this is interesting. We see Damien Hardwick has left the ground level to go up to the coach's box. We spoke about that. Do you throw Jack Riewoldt into the mix, give him a run in the midfield for 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's an interesting call, Rob. We'll just watch this unfold here.
Carazzo, Waite couldn't hang on. Rance does well and was legged. So advantage paid as the Tigers now get it to the wing, taken by Cochin.
I wouldn't, Rob. This is why.
Riewoldt, oh gee, was he pushed out? No, free kick from Jack. He won't be happy about that. Yaron, good little give to Houlihan, who's collecting a lot, the substitute, coming on late in the third quarter to Ellard, loose player at half forward, taken by Walker. He's intent on playing on, target bets. Oh, we got hands to it, but they've got 3 there. They can just share it around. Waite's kick, not great. Had more time than he thought behind.
Yeah, just with Riewoldt, I don't think he's out of form. I just think the ball's not coming to him. I think there's, you know, if you see a bloke out of form, you might throw him up the ground. I agree with that. But I just reckon at the moment he looks in pretty good nick. He just, you know, it's been a good contest. I've quite enjoyed it, particularly from Carlton point of view for Henderson and also for Riewoldt for future. But I still like him as he is.
Tigers work at the post. Having it on to Hislop. Former Bomber, substitute for Richmond today. Solidly built, middle-sized player. Can't see much that he likes up forward and rams it into the man on the mark. Jeremy Laidler, so there'll be a throw in.
You know what annoys me about some teams?
Did you ever kick the man on the mark?
No, once in the coach said about
career.
You know what he said to me? If I could do that again, I'll cut your leg off. I never ever did it again. Hey, can I just say something?
Did you ever run into an open goal and kick to behind?
Absolutely. I made a practice of it. Of course, we all do that. You know when a player goes backwards and forwards like Hislop did there? Yeah. That really annoys me. That means there's no structure to the team. You know, not for them. For them. You go back, I can't see anything, you kick it down the line. I mean, there's not always times you can create something. But that indecision really annoys me as in watching players do it.
Simpson close to the line. Good mark. Taken by Batchelor. He goes back and across to Ledio. Another disposal for Nahas. Back to the Ledio. Linking up now with the captain through the midfield. Can he find a target? He can, but it's only short. Martin. Nahas kept going after gathering at half back. Now his short kick is marked by Farmer. So Farmer will kick from 45 for Richmond's 8th goal.
21 disposals, Dustin Martin. 5 kicks, 16 hand passes. How do you mark him?
Probably about 4.5 out of 10 today.
With a bloke who can kick as well as he can, you'd like it to be 16 kicks and 5 hand passes.
So Farmer, nice kick off the boot, and he has Richmond's 8th goal.
It was a nice build-up here, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about good foot skills and making good decisions, but clearly making decisions. And it was a nice finish in the end of Farmer.
So Tigers get it back below 100 just for the moment.
There's the month ahead for the Blues. Round 16, bigger test for the Bulldogs perhaps than it is for Carlton. Dogs have won 3 on end, and then a really big game. Carlton and Collingwood, well, it always is. But particularly if Carlton win next week, that really becomes a test of strength.
I was going to say before, Rod, with Jared Waite, it's about time he probably had a rest. You know, you put him away.
Yeah.
I hope I just saw him then. I just hope he's not off the ground because of injury. I was just thinking perhaps give him time off now.
Carlton have been able to take the ball off Richmond just too often today. They don't come away with it here, but at least they force the ball up.
Doesn't look too panicky, does he?
No, he's been terrific on his return to senior football.
No ice anywhere.
3 second-half goals to Waite. Cruiser having a rest at the moment as well. Warnock, the number 1 ruckman, lifting it high into the 50. The bounce, one of those ones that could go anywhere. Ellard to Judd for Betts to come in and kick his 5th.
He's unselfish.
The whole Carlton team has been unselfish. That's great from Ellard, wasn't it?
Ellard, he's a smart little player and unselfish by Judd. We've seen Eddie kick a couple off the ground from a metre out.
And one off his knee, which wasn't allowed in the first quarter.
Yes.
I got to say, I think he's got the baggiest pants. We're getting a bit like American basketball, aren't we? They're getting baggier.
They are. You like his baggy shorts, unselfish play by Chris Judd, but Eddie's got the baggiest shorts in the game.
I think it'll go that way, Rob. The tight ones are gone, and I'll come back in about 100 years' time. They'll wear tight again.
They will fall off and trip him up at a crucial moment one day.
I tell you what, he hasn't got him hoisted as high as Lloydie used to wear his.
Brown out of the centre for the Tigers to half forward. Laidler done his job as well. Kick to the wing. No one there. Boundary throw in.
And in the old days, you wore them skin tight and your Guernsey, and the idea was that it was harder for a player to catch hold of you.
And it was, and it is. So scientifically, a lot of science has taken over the game. Why hasn't science noticed that? Swimmers' togs are now much tighter. Why shouldn't the jumpers and pants be tighter?
We need science in our shorts.
Yes. I'm
Jackson
with you, Tim.
does well. Foley. Greg, under pressure, just has to kick it as far as he can and hope. Vickery, not quite. Laidler does well, front and centre. Houlihan always uses it well, always got plenty of time. Tui, Thornton, Henderson. Oh, kicked, smothered by Nahas. No. He knocks it, but straight to Cochin. He scrambles a kick forward, but it's all Carlton. And the mark taken by Thornton.
And the reason the Henderson kick wasn't smart, it was just like giving someone smothering practice. You're always going to have a kick, a wind up like that smothered. So you just got to be a bit smarter than that.
Laidler to Carazzo. Long one for Gibbs. Read it beautifully. Outmanoeuvred post. Now just puts it there for Garland to use his pace and skill. And he shows it all. He just can't quite go the last yard. But Simpson runs onto it. And Carlton get another.
How good was that? Oh, you can't do that without confidence, pace, skill and know-how. And that's more than the 3 ingredients. That's 4, Rob.
Yeah, and I like Gibbs playing across the half-forward line. I'm sure he likes it too. He tries to put it to the advantage of little Jeffy. He's a Carlton veteran now. Jeffy Garland comes off after setting that goal up. But getting back to the Guernseys and being tight, I can remember, Malcolm, the Richmond Guernseys in our day, a lot of them were lace-up Guernsey, and it was like a canvas Guernsey, and with the lace-up, it was skin-tight, and you just couldn't get a grab hold of the jumper. And I reckon they're a real advantage.
The trouble is you get your fingers caught. I might break the top of my finger one day getting caught in a Richmond jumper.
They were banned for exactly that reason.
I think Robbie Flower was the last one to incur that, and after that they were banned. Carazzo's short kick marked by Gibbs. 65, but he plays on immediately. Kicks across the ground, and Big Robbie just stands in the hole and accepts the mark. He'll kick from 50.
Now, can Robbie go the distance from there? I'm not sure that he can. So I reckon he says, I know I can't, so I'll give it off.
Thornton. Now that should be play on, because he took three or four steps forward and tried to get the man on the mark so he could reach the
He tried
target.
to milk 3 metres.
He did.
Yeah,
he should have been called to play on.
You were right on.
Look at him now. Look at him now. He's turned around for 20 metres. How do you know someone's not? I mean, that annoys
Now watch
me.
this again. Now watch this. What, he marks it, and 1, 2, 3.
He's off.
You've become the Ray Chamberlain of commentators.
So here he is, Brett Thornton from 48. And didn't matter, he's missed to the right.
The other thing about those old-time Richmond canvas jumpers that they laced up, if you got hit with one, it was like carpet burn.
Can I tell you something, Rob? This is true. There is a game going on, but I actually played for Findon High in Adelaide for all those Adelaide people, and the guy, Mr. Hill, one of the blokes we played with, his father made them. Okay. It was a South Australian invention, and I actually wore it playing for Findon High in the old days. Richmond got hold of it, and so did a lot of other clubs. But that's a fact, actually. Yeah, he made them.
I can remember the Sturt Football Club had them.
Yeah, that's right. They came from South Australia.
You said if the Guernsey hit you, Rob, what was it like?
It was like carpet burn.
Well, in those matches against Richmond, if it was the Guernsey that hit you, you could count yourself lucky.
Yes. It was a pointed elbow that you're worried about.
Damien Hardwick, just as we go back to the footy here. Sorry, everyone, but it's pretty poor what's going on here. Decision-making and skill has hurt Richmond today, and there's another one. And you'd think Walker would kick another goal and probably get his fourth, Michael.
Yes, and a record very close to being broken, Rob, that you'll be very interested to hear about. As Andrew Walker from 35 metres makes no mistake. So the Carlton lead now 116 points. Now, Rob, Carlton's highest ever score against the Tigers was 177 points, as we look at the Crown, 59,650. In the 1972 Grand Final, we're now at 172 points, and the biggest ever victory over Richmond, 115 points, with it, which is they've just beaten, and that was back in 1984.
84, remember it?
Well, I reckon they should blow the siren.
That record, you would think, is going to fall. I know there's one particular football record that Wolsey is praying will fall, and that is Geelong's highest ever score, because it was against the Brisbane Bears when our esteemed colleague was coach. But this is one that he would love to stand forever.
And you know who was coaching Geelong that day?
The great man, the other great man. Here's Murphy. The record might be about to tumble. Garlett, the man, from 25 out straight in front.
Now, you kicked 6 that day, I think, from memory, Rob.
I did, Chris O. Anyone kick 6 today?
No.
We've still got time, though.
I think they should keep Eddie off.
There were a few 6s that day. Jezelenko got 7.
And Big Nick.
Big Nick got 6. Here's Garlett. And he wipes a famous record from the Carlton history book.
I'm just so pleased. It's a great mark as we watch this in replay. Does the discipline thing here, Murphy, and then Garlett goes a fraction early. Almost slightly impedes, but Michael, Christian, I should answer you this question. Have you enjoyed Carlton today as much as some other blokes around the ground that we can see?
I tell you what, they've been cock a hoop, haven't they, the boys?
Yeah. Andy Marr, are you still with us?
I'm just enjoying it. I'd love you to ask a question about Wolsey's carpet burn and history of it. That's the thing that's intriguing me the most right now. I mean, we all came here today thinking the Carlton might have been a bit under a bit of pressure, and Richmond might have sniffed that and had half a chance. I mean, their performance today has been beyond lamentable. It's hard to understand how they could dish this up today.
I think you're right, Andy. I thought it'd be a real contest. I thought every chance that whoever wins might win by 2, 3, 4 goals perhaps. I didn't think you'd have a 100-plus point blowout.
Nahas to the pocket, catching up too early at the back. Thornton, good tackle on him by Revolt, and at least the Tigers on this occasion keep it inside their attacking 50.
I mean, everyone was talking about, pre-game Carlton, are they legitimate top 4? Well, Richmond's still vying for a chance of playing finals footy this year. I mean,
not any longer.
This is a dagger in that heart, surely.
Their percentage was poor. It's a whole lot worse now. Richmond free kick here to Nahas. It's been a horrid day. Foley, probably one of their better performers. Henderson does the job on Revolt. I think Horatio, as mentioned earlier in the day, was a Tiger, and unfortunately he's disappeared under the main span a long time ago.
Was it a timber bridge in those days, Tim?
Yeah, they were mainly made out of wood in those days, Malcolm.
Were you there?
No, I just read about it in school. Cruiser down to Judd, Scotland, Simpson. Robinson, been a star. Has he been their best, I wonder? What's the feeling of our voting panel up here?
It's an interesting question as to who would get the votes, and I'm thinking Judd and Murphy. Do you think they get Brownlow votes?
Yes,
either of them?
I think Murphy will. I mean, Judd's been fantastic after quarter time. I think Murphy's just been as consistent as anyone. Mitch Robinson was unbelievably early. He's just quieting off a bit. So I reckon the last 10 minutes of this game could get you an extra vote in the Brownlow.
So Kington Nahas, quick snap, and Revolt has been paid the mark. Right beside the behind post. He's kicked 3, and really with limited opportunities this afternoon, an opportunity just to take 2 or 3 steps to his right, which he does, brings it back and misses to the near side. So his tally this afternoon, 3 goals, 2.
Yeah.
Chris Judd, 30 disposals. 10 inside 50s, 11 clearances. It's not a bad day's work, Malcolm.
No. Murphy's had 27 and kicked 2 lovely goals and run the ball, I think, just a fraction more than Judd. But you're splitting swords, aren't you?
I think Robinson's the one that set it up in the first half.
Yeah, but the umpires forget the first half.
I'm with you, Chris. I reckon he's the man, that he might be forgotten.
Who would you go for, Tim?
I'd go for Robinson.
I agree. I think it's those 3. In which order would be fascinating Brownlow medal night.
Oh, we'll wait and see.
Nahas snaring the contested ball there in the Vickery direction. Just hasn't been able to pull down a big one in front of goal today. There'll be a ball up. In fact, Vickery stats 4 kicks, 5 hand passes, 3 marks.
The other player you consider, I suppose, is Eddie Betts, who's been fantastic. I mean, he's got 5. A couple of pop-overs. No, he hasn't got a lot, though, no.
Cruiser chalking up the hit-outs at the moment. King wrapped up by Judd and Simpson. There'll be a ball up.
While all this goes on, there's a blue on the wing.
Brown, Tui, socket forward by Tui of Carlton.
Blues about to get broken up out there.
Nahas, and he's got Hooley in the centre, who dabs it back to Rance, ridden and pushed in the back by Walker. And Alex Rance will take the free kick. Been a tough afternoon for the Richmond defenders. The ball's been coming down pretty regularly. Domination of the clearances by the Blues as Cochin finds Hooley. Got a loose player in the centre, Grigg, former Blue. Kicks it inside attacking 50. Cochin's got to stand underneath it, and he did it very well. And he has marked 35 from goal directly in front.
Look what you got to do. I mean, when you cop one of these, Rob, everyone being involved in footy's cop one of these hidings. As we watch this, he just stood there, didn't he, and put his hands out in front of his eyes. Great 45-degree angle. Find out what you were thinking from a coach who actually stopped. I'm a great believer in you stop something. And I'd be interested in seeing what Damien Hardwick does.
Cochin kicks the goal for the Tigers.
So that skirmish out on the southern wing started like that between Jaden Post and...
Where's your tie? Come on, get your ties on. That's what they're saying. Have a look at that.
Robert Warnock for Carlton. Maybe someone getting their finger caught in the buttonhole of a lace-up jumper. Cochin swings the Tigers forward and wide. Post, rather Hislop, first man there. Tui brought him down, but didn't quite finish the job, and it's Richmond's ball. Nahas to Farmer, who can line them up. They're playing under lights now. It's starting to look almost like a night game. They've been long quarters with such a high score kick by the Blues. So Tom Hislop losing his shorts. Thank goodness they don't wear the old jock straps that they used to wear under the under the tight shorts in the good old days. They wear those elasticized corsets these days. Farmer kicks well, kicks a goal.
Elasticized corsets.
Did he really say corset? Oh, Tim.
I reckon Horatio was a chance to have a corset.
Who was the last bloke to wear a corset out on an AFL ground?
Horatio.
There's a trivia question for you.
These big margins can do something to you, can't they?
Gee, I'm glad, Malcolm, that Carlton have won by so much too. The mood is very buoyant in the box, isn't it?
Yeah.
Damien Hardwick sitting unusually up in the coach's box in the latter part of this game. Cruiser taken though by Newman, who finds himself inside the centre square to half forward, big pack, front and centre. Martin fends off one, can't fend off three, and as a consequence is penalised. Free kick to Carlton to come to Tui at half back. Off to Houlihan, who was the substitute, came on late in the third quarter.
Enjoying the way he's carrying the number 42, Wolsey?
Look, I watch him closely, Andy, and I reckon he's been terrific. You know, the young Irish lad who's come over here, been here a couple of years, but I tell you what he is. He's hard and he's aggressive at the football.
Hey, Andy, have you mentioned anyone from the black and red? Black and gold?
Been a lot, well, there hasn't been a lot to talk about from a positive, to be honest, Malcolm.
He's harped on the negatives well, though, Malcolm. Chance for Robinson. Well done by King. Cruiser slips in. Well done by Simpson. Laidler missed the target with the kick. An opportunity now. Oh, well done, Carazzo. Somehow was able to find the footy. Ellard off the side of the boot and over in front of Murphy.
And Chris Judd's day done, do you think, Andy?
Yeah, it looks like he's ready to come back on, Rob. So no, just doing his bit as part of the rotations right through to the end.
Well done, Vickery, reaching over the top. Cochin seizes on the ball, but across the ground, and that was poor. He coughed it up straight to Russell from 50. What a beautiful finish. Margin out to 115, which equals the biggest ever margin by the Blues over Richmond.
In 1984, was it?
1984,
yeah,
quite correct. Yeah, 1984.
Not many 30 goals kicked in modern times, Rob. This might be one of them.
Yes, it's very rare that in today's footy that you see around the 30 goals kicked by a team.
Jordan Russell's become the 13th Carlton goal kicker of the day. Big men Cruiser and Warnock both missed from point-blank range. They could quite conceivably have 30 goals and have 15 goal kickers. Not far short of the record.
Trent Cotchin never gives in. I really admire the way he goes about it.
It's one of those holding the balls, Malcolm.
Yeah, just
as it started, so shall it end. Nathan Foley, who has contributed across the 4 quarters for the Tigers. Edwards and Hooley's running forward, and he might have a ping at them from outside 50, and he pings well, he pings beautifully and kicks a goal. Tigers have kicked 5 in the last quarter, but needless to say, virtually all the sting out of the game. Carlton have kicked 17 in the second half. Hooley, a good kick of the ball, and from just outside 50, under no pressure, finished well.
So 5 goals in this final quarter to the Tigers. Unfortunately for them, Carlton have kicked 8 to add to their 9 they kicked in the third quarter. Chris Newman, nonplussed with what's happened this afternoon. Warnock dominant inside the centre square. Kick forward by Carazzo towards half forward. Post coming to meet. Oh, gee. Had a one-on-one down the ground. Decided instead to handball. And as a result of that, they might turn it oval. No, Thursfield did well enough to get it to Vickery. Now to Jackson. So they'll get out of trouble. Jackson from 60. Drives it long. Revolt Henderson. And a good kick from Jackson. Not for the first time this afternoon. Beautiful position kick to the advantage of Rewalt, and he doesn't need much of an advantage, Jack, to take that opportunity, and that's exactly what happened on that occasion. You just see him just going out the back, and the kick from Jackson just was perfectly placed. 3 goals, 2 this afternoon, and he squeezes that one through for goal number 4.
Well, I'm always pleased that Rewalt's got 4 because it was a great kick to him. You've got to make your own space, but I've been impressed with Henderson too to persevere with. And when you kick 4 from a side that's got absolutely shellacked, Henderson's had 7 touches and nice punches, and Rewalt's had 8. So I've really enjoyed the mini contest because it hasn't been down there a lot. But 4 goals, any full forward, providing the other bloke's not getting a million touches, it's not a bad effort.
Revolt's 45 for the season. He puts his nose in front of Buddy Franklin, who plays tomorrow, of course, in a huge game against Collingwood. Carlton play Collingwood in a couple of weeks. Would you have Henderson down the back on one of Collingwood's big men?
I'd be trying it every minute of the day.
Ellard, deep, Cruiser. Oh, gee, he got a hand to it. Couldn't complete the mark. Betts was held. No free kick. Still fighting on. Betts got it to Cruiser. Good pressure that time by the Tigers, deep in defence. And we'll get a boundary throw in the forward pocket.
And the reason why, Tim, is Jamison's not going to be back, is he? And everyone else has nearly been tried. You may as well just keep trying him. Teach him the position.
Well, we think Jamison will probably miss a month.
Yeah.
Chance for Rance. It was almost as though Judd waited for him to kick it and then pushed him off the line. And Rance's kick out on the full. And Chris Judd has had another wonderful day out. 30 disposals, a couple of goals. Will kick for his 3rd goal. We must be almost out of time. It's been a mammoth performance by the Blues. Chris Judd across the face. They'll contest in the other pocket. And no mark taken. Oh, Brown was pushed in the back. Surely a free kick.
I've got a fair idea. There was 5 guys going for mark of the year there.
Yes. The old schoolyard.
Well, no ramifications, really.
Well, Andrew Walker thought he'd have a go.
Mark taken by Hooley. And a record today at Carlton eclipsing that 1972 grand final record, Robert. And there it is. It's all over. 103 points A wonderful victory and a great bounce back from last week.
Yeah, I mean, they were just too good. All over the ground, great. The skipper was great. The midfield was super. Cruiser's back in form. Their forward line is dangerous and their back line was good.
Absolutely, Malcolm. A disappointing performance by the Tigers because they've shown a bit this year, but they got smashed in the midfield. Warnock rucked really well. We see Bryce Gibbs there, spent a lot of time up forward. Eddie Betts was lively, as was Garland.
Great performance by the Blues. 103 points, their victory over the Tigers this afternoon.
We are the Navy Blues. We are the old dark Navy Blues. We're the team that never lets you down. We're the only team old Carlton knows. We're all the champions. They like to send us. We'll keep our heads up, and they will know that they've been playing against the famous old dark Blues.
This has been a Fox Sports presentation.